karate program. So we had actually changed it, and I was looking at it, and I was kind of like, that's actually quite fresh. I kind of like the fact that it's different to all the other streams. So I've just changed it over. I've just changed it over to something a bit different. I think it's something in America, some American desert. I have no idea why. It is what it is. But anyway, yeah, we are live for AEW. One of the other things I've done as well is just move the light away from my face. So I might be a little bit dark. But equally, I might not be as, like, washed out. I do tend to watch back some of the streams, and I'm like Casper the Friendly Ghost. So, I kind of feel like this might be a little better, but maybe a bit dark. Don't know. But either way, hope everyone's well. We're trying a few different bits and bobs, playing around. I still need to fix the microphone, which is very high on my to-do list. But let's just quickly go through what we're going to get tonight on AEW, and then we'll jump into the chat. I do want to say a big thank you to everyone that tuned in to the Wrestling Escape Pods. I am genuinely loving what's happening over there at the moment, and I'm quite excited for the future of the Wrestling Escape Pod. Probably the most excited I've been for a while, actually, because we do a weekly podcast. It's on the hour just before this stream. And we've started to look at some of the Instagram pictures from WWE, and we're just having fun with them, questioning the background, questioning why they're posing like they are, and just, having a bit of fun. And I don't know, like watching people in the chat, like scoring them and interacting and having fun with them. I'm proper trying to think about how we take that to another level, So really excited about the Wrestling Escape Pod. So a big thank you to everyone that checked that out, and looking forward to AEW tonight. AEW has got a few interesting things up their sleeve. Of course, the battle for ratings rages. Everyone is in a battle for ratings. I haven't actually seen how NXT did last night, but it felt a little quiet, to be honest. It felt a little quiet. The New Day moment was amazing, though. That was epic. The show itself was fine. I wasn't seeing much in the way of buzz online about it. But then, to be perfectly truthful, that could be because my Twitter account got deleted, and so I'm having to start from scratch again. So maybe I'm not quite seeing the same things I was in the past. So it could totally be me. Either way, let's get into this preview. So we have got AEW tag titles, Acclaimed versus FTR. Now, is this a tag title match? I didn't actually know about this. So AEW tag titles, Acclaimed versus FTR. We've got the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. So is that tonight as well? We've got the MJF appearing live. We're going to hear from Jamie Hayter and Jon Moxley. We've got the TNT title, Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin. We've got Jake Hager and Garcia taking on Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. And we've got Jade Cargill and the Baddies taking on Reign, Hogan, and Sky Blue. So I've totally missed this title. Yeah. World Tag Team Championship. The Acclaimed versus FTR. So I don't know where that came from, but it looks like we've got a big title match. AEW, tonight's the night. It's the Acclaimed versus FTR for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. So that is going down tonight, which is pretty amazing. They did say about the Diamond Battle Royal, more entrants to be announced. So yeah, the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. I don't know if that's tonight or if they're just announcing more entrants that are going to be in it. But either way, I mean, look, I'll show you the graphic I'm looking at. Right, rather than me just reading it out, I'll show you what I'm looking at, and then you can make your own minds up. Here we go. So this is the preview for tonight. We have got Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin TNT Championship. We've got the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, but then underneath it says more entrants to be announced. Then we've got the Acclaimed versus FTR, AEW World Tag Team Championship match. As we said, Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia against Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. We've also got Jade Gargill and the Baddies versus Madison Rain, Sky Blue, and Kiera Hogan. We've got Jamie Hayter in an interview with Tony Schiavone. We've got MJF, and we're going to hear from Jon Moxley. There is a bit of talk at the moment, and it has been brought up on previous streams about women's wrestling and how women's wrestling is not doing very well for the ratings. When I look at this card, I look at Jade Cargill and the Baddies versus Madison Rain, Sky Blue, and Kiera Hogan as being a real low point of this card. I think that Jade Cargill has been built up really well. I think the Baddies are nothing more than like Jay and Jay Security. Like, they're really nothing more than just people to take bumps. Like, there's really nothing about the Baddies that makes me want to tune in and watch them. They are just there to back up Jade Cargill. And then, you know, I haven't seen any interaction really. I saw Kiera Hogan get kicked out the other week, and I haven't seen that story develop any further. So now she's going to be going up against Jade Cargill. I don't really have a reason to care for that. It's not like they've been attacking her or I've been seeing any drama on that front. Again, this could have been playing out on Rampage, could have been playing out on Dark, could have been playing out on Elevation. Just haven't seen it. I don't know why Madison Rain, Sky Blue, and Kiera Hogan are together. I don't know, like, what relationship they've got. I don't know if Jade Cargill and the Baddies have been attacking Madison Rain, Sky Blue, and Kiera Hogan. Sky Blue is someone I've seen a couple of times. I don't have like any. There's nothing there. I've seen Madison Rain a couple of times, although I am aware she's a big star from Impact. She doesn't do anything for me because I've not seen her. I didn't watch Impact, and so I've only seen her a couple of times. And I have to say, the times I've seen her, I've not been impressed. So that match, you know, if we're going to talk about women's wrestling, how women's wrestling is like dragging down ratings, I kind of feel like we're doing women's wrestling a disservice. Because to me, women's wrestling, the good stuff is like Jamie Hayter, it's Bianca Belair, it's Becky Lynch, it's Bayley, it's, you know, it's star power, right? You can't just chuck women out there and expect them to do ratings. So for me, I look at that women's match and I think, well, we've done nothing to build that. There's nothing there to get me excited about that match. There's nothing there for me to care about. I don't care who wins. I don't know the relationship between the women. If there's been a little backstage thing, then I've forgotten about it. The last thing I remember in regards to Kiera Hogan was her being kicked out of the group, and it was just done in a little backstage moment on Dynamite for all of like a couple of minutes. So this is the problem, really. I think that you've got some great women that can wrestle and can tell stories, but you've got to give them the booking. You've got to give them the creative. So just looking at this, I just think it's a bit of a shame we don't have a juicy women's match there. The only women's match we've got is this. And if we're going to use that as an example for the women killing ratings, I have got no surprise whatsoever as to why that's going to do nothing for the ratings whatsoever. That belongs on Dark or Elevation. That does not belong on Dynamite. And if you want to put it on Dynamite, you needed to have done a much better job of building it. So hearing from Jamie Hayter's cool. Hearing from MJF is cool. Hearing from Jon Moxley's cool. I mean, he's a big star. Acclaimed FTR is going to be massive. The Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal should be fun. I don't know what that'll do for ratings, but it should be fun. Samoa Joe, Darby Allin, I ain't that crazy about, to be honest. I don't feel like there's really been much builds there. And then, I don't know. I think people will be a bit split on this Hager, Garcia, Claudio, Wheeler Yuta. There's not really too much there either for me, although that has had a little build. But by and large, I would say a mixed bag, to be honest. Just looking at this card, I would say it's a mixed bag this week. But, I mean, wow. Acclaimed FTR. It's just a shame I didn't even know that was happening. And I just feel like we should have been building that up for weeks and weeks and weeks. There should have been promos. There should have been back and forth. It should have been like in 2 weeks' time, in 1 week time. This is the week. You know, this is the week it's happening. I think we could have done a much better job of building that. But we'll see. We'll see what the ratings come in at. And as we said, it's just a real quiet time of year at the moment. It's not a great time of year to try and turn the ratings around. But Ember Moon versus Ruby Riott versus Paige. Paige will win, obviously, says Miguel. Can I ask why you're not doing Wrestling Escape Pod live? I can't lie, it's not the same not being live, said Asib. It's better. It's better because when it was live, we just constantly was getting lag and we just couldn't get into a rhythm. I mean, when I'm sitting here talking live and in the corner, all I can see is a red light that's flashing at me. I look in the bottom corner and it's a red light and I'm like, oh my God. And like, the laggers hit. I don't know why it's happened. I genuinely don't know why it's happened. But for some reason, over the past few months, trying to get Tommy in and then try to stream out at the same time on the same internet has just been a problem for the past couple of months. And so I was just looking at like the live webs and I was like, nah. I can't get into any kind of rhythm. I can't get into any kind of conversation. I'm constantly sitting here looking at a red light flashing in the corner, which is telling me that there's lag. There's been times where we've actually done the Wrestling Escape Pod and Tommy has completely disappeared because the connection has been completely lost. So I don't know what's changed, but for whatever reason, it's just not possible to do it live anymore. So pre-recording it makes the show better, in my opinion, because it allows us to get into conversations. It allows us to actually not have to worry about that. And then we can like get stuck into some subjects. And I am loving the WWE Instagram stuff at the moment. I think there's so much to have fun with there. And I was in the live chat and the people in the live chat were like putting in their scores for the pictures and all this kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, this is good. This is good. We can grow this. I feel like I can put scores on screen. I feel like I need to move Tommy around so that the images are better seen. I feel like some of the funnier images that we have fun with, I can pull out as like separate videos. I feel like there could even be a vote where we vote on the best images. Maybe could be something where people send in images that they want us to look at. And maybe that could be something we do in the future. So I'm kind of looking at this now and I'm like, okay, I can actually see something here. I can see a way forward. I can find something that I think the web can really grab a hold of. And that, I must admit, I've been looking for that for a long time. I've been looking for something for the Wrestling Escape Pod, and I'm really quite excited about this Instagram stuff right now. So it's funny, actually, because I just sent Triple T a message going, oh my God, I've got so many ideas of things that I want to be doing. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. I'm excited. Big Time Baxter said, did you hear that Tony on the Ring of Honor media call said William Regal wanted out of his contract, but he can't appear on TV until 2024 after he fulfills his commitments? I did, yeah. So he said that he is allowed to go back as a coach, but not allowed to go back and be on TV. I think that's, I mean, look, maybe this is going to be a bit controversial, but I just don't care about the William Regal stuff. If I'm going to be completely 100% honest, I just don't care. The reason why I don't care is because I don't think him as a manager was that brilliant in AEW. I actually don't think that, there was some fun stuff that he did on commentary. But we got into a big conversation about William Regal and was he better as a manager or better as a GM? For me, it's night and day. There is no doubt in my mind he was so much better as a general manager. So much better as a general manager. I actually thought that, him walking out and, being all William Regal-esque whilst you got Moxley acting all moody and everything, that just didn't quite work for me. I probably enjoyed him a lot more with Bryan Danielson, because I think Bryan Danielson is someone that has spoken a lot about wrestling and respect in wrestling, and has spoken a lot about his peers and his inspirations, and you could totally understand why Bryan Danielson would look up to someone like William Regal. But the other flip side of the coin is Danielson didn't need William Regal. He doesn't struggle with talking. He didn't need William Regal to big him up or anything. William Regal didn't bring anything to Danielson, but it was the best fit. I didn't think he brought anything to Moxley, and I didn't even think the fit was that great. You could maybe put William Regal with someone like Wheeler Yuta, and that could be interesting because him coming down with Wheeler Yuta and then telling us what he sees in Wheeler Yuta, that would have been a better fit, but we never saw that. When was we ever seeing Wheeler Yuta come down to the ring with William Regal on their own? Like, that just wasn't something we were seeing. And then, like, Blackpool Combat Club together, I don't think it ever really reached the heights that they wanted it to reach. I don't think it ever really got going. I sort of feel like Blackpool Combat Club had great potential, but it was nothing more than great potential. And a lot of that is to do maybe with disruptions and the Elite going and CM Punk going and Moxley having to have the title back and all of this kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, like, I don't look at William Regal's time in AEW as this rip-roaring success. I think that he is a great asset. I think that he is very credible. I think that he can do a lot of things. He can very good behind the scenes. You can have him as a manager. You can have him as a GM. You can put him onto commentary. Like, he's very versatile. But did we ever really unlock William Regal? Did he ever really knock it out the park? I mean, maybe you can say some of his interactions with Excalibur were fun. Maybe you can say that having him with Wheeler Yuta made Wheeler Yuta a bit more credible. Maybe you could say, I remember one promo that he did, one vignette that he did that really did knock it out the park. It was like a pre-record, and everyone was like, oh, it was all over social media and people were buzzing about it. I remember that, and that killed it. But again, if you saw that promo, which was William Regal talking about what the Blackpool Combat Club's all about, and they were all in the gym and they were putting the work in, and William Regal was doing the voiceover. If you saw that, that to me is the benchmark of like what William Regal can do. I mean, William Regal is goated. There's no denying it. No one's going to deny it. But did we get to those levels with William Regal on a regular basis? I don't think we did. I think having him with Moxley was not really the right move. I think putting him with Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson is fine, but like, he didn't need it. Like, he didn't need to be with Regal. He's, Regal's just there, really. Regal going with like a Wheeler Yuta, being with a Daniel Garcia, like really saying like, I know talent. I've, been all around the world scouting for various different companies. I'm aware when I see something special. And I have never seen anything like Daniel Garcia. Like, if he was to do something along those lines, I feel like that would be a great use of him. So if in my opinion, and your opinion can be different, but if in my opinion, William Regal was not used that brilliantly in AEW, him going back to WWE, we spoke a lot about like potentially he won't go to the main roster because of the fact that he might not want to be on the road. He's just, he's got a few health problems, a few little niggles. He's based in Florida. He has been working in Florida. I must admit, him going back to WWE, I thought would be him going back to his GM role at NXT. I thought that he would probably want to go back, help Shawn. Triple H isn't around. If they want to make it more like Black and Gold, who better to have around than William Regal, who was there all throughout Black and Gold? So I kind of thought, well, I don't think it's been amazing in AEW. I think he can go back to NXT, and I think he can like be a big support there. Granted, they could have put him on Raw and SmackDown. I wasn't sure they were going to do that, though. I kind of felt like he'd probably want to stay at home and go back to the NXT thing. And so, really, we're talking about someone that hasn't been used brilliant, is now going back to WWE, was going back to like a part-time GM role, and now we found out that he won't be able to be on TV. So he's going to just be like behind the scenes, basically doing coaching, working with his son, and just like a support. I just sort of feel like the amount of conversation around William Regal, like the amount, it seems to be like the talk of the wrestling world. Like the amount of conversation, it just doesn't seem to kind of tally up in my mind with how he's been used. Like, he was a part-time GM in NXT, and then he went over and did some so-so stuff in AEW, and now he's going back to WWE. Like, but honestly, the conversation, the noise is so loud around William Regal. I suppose I'm just a bit surprised that it's as loud as what it is. I suppose I'm just a bit surprised that people are so engaged in this conversation regarding William Regal. I love him. I mean, I think he's goated. I've been to a Comic-Con just to meet him. So I've had a picture with him. I've, had a little quick conversation with him. Yeah, there ain't no shade coming from me. But I suppose in a way, I'm just surprised that this is as big of a conversation as what it's become. And I do wonder sometimes if that's mainly because you've got so many wrestling news outlets that are so reliant on some news, any news, because they need likes, they need clicks, they need attention. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm just telling you the truth, right? They need to get like that engagement, the social media, YouTube, myself included. It all works with engagement and people joining you for streams or joining and clicking on videos, likes, comments. You know how the world works. And I'm just wondering if maybe as the news been a bit quiet, could it be something along those lines that the news has been a little quiet and so everyone's just jumped onto the William Regal thing? Because I just find it such a weird story that's just, have you heard about this now about William Regal? Have you heard about that about William Regal? Have you? Like, it's just really strange to me. Really, really strange. So I ain't that crazy about the William Regal story. Like, he's gone to AEW. He's had an opportunity to go back. Granted, fair play to Tony Khan. He's allowed it. I think that's newsworthy. And now he's going to go back. And now we found out today he can't be used on TV. So, but he was a part-time GM in NXT anyway. You never really saw him, or certainly never saw him weekly. You saw him once in a blue moon when they needed to do a little GM thing. And in all fairness, they've got Sean now. So, like, Sean's kind of taken up that responsibility. So it'll be interesting to know what he does back in WWE. He said that he wants to work with his son. He wants to work with Charlie Dempsey. So he wants to, do that, wants to do a bit of coaching. As I've said, the great thing with Regal is he's super versatile. And he is someone that is going to be an asset wherever you put him. If you want to put him onto talent, like relations, if you want to put him onto scouting, if you want to put him just into training in the performance center, like if you want to do him as a producer where he actually helps produce matches, like there's so many different ways that you can use him. He's like a Swiss Army knife, isn't he? He's like a Swiss Army knife of the wrestling world. So it's a good pickup for WWE. And honestly, even though that he won't be able to get onto TV, it's still a good pickup. It works for him. It works for them. And I don't think that Tony is going to be that bothered, to be honest, because as I said, what's he losing? He's losing the manager of Blackpool Combat Club, which I don't think was really getting anywhere anyway, to be honest. Trent said, do you get good internet? No, sadly not, Trent. I am in the middle of a field, and the internet that comes into our house is, I think it's something like 8 megabits a second, which is just atrocious. Like, if you've got 5G, you can get about 70 to 100 megabits a second. I think to have a steady stream, you need a minimum of about 3 to 5. So I think this is where we can stream out. We can stream out, and we do get a little bit of lag from time to time. But it's a case of, by and large, it's all right. We do all right. But I think, like, for the Wrestling Escape Pods, when I'm trying to stream Tommy in on Zoom and also then put that into a podcast and then stream that out onto YouTube, that whole process just seems to be a bit too much at the moment. So, but as I said, like, every cloud, I think if you look at the episodes, I think they're a bit tighter. I think they can get even tighter. I think that we can present them better. I think we can change the focus around a little bit. And I'm just really excited about the Wrestling Escape Pod at the moment. So, as I said, a big thank you to everyone that stopped by and checked that out and enjoyed that earlier. Binky Wok said, have you seen Asuka's recent tweets and the Kana pictures? Binky Wok, shout out to you. I have. I've said before that I don't really read too much into the teases because we see a lot of superstars teasing stuff online quite regular. So I don't really read too much into those because it really could be that Asuka is just a bit frustrated with where her character is at the moment. And she wants to just get a bit of buzz, send some pictures out, just let people know that she's not happy with where she is. Not that she's going to walk out, storm out, or, kick off. But just, I don't think she would be happy because she is someone that has been presented so strong. She has been presented, when she was in NXT, she was the woman. Then when she came up, there was plenty of Asuka's going to kill you chants. And there's plenty of, women that are around now that seem to be prioritized over Asuka. Like, Asuka is definitely a big star, and she's definitely someone that can carry the ball, and she's definitely someone that they will use again in the future. But I think you can definitely see that, she's not even getting singles matches at the moment. Like, she is on Raw, but on pay-per-views. She can't even, getting onto pay-per-views is hard for Asuka. I'm trying to think if she was even at SummerSlam, and I don't think she was. She was, I think, used at Clash at the Castle, but that was in that kind of 6-woman mixed tag match thing. And then I'm trying to think, she was probably at War Games inside the cage. So, yeah, she's just part of this, story at the moment, this multi-woman story, but she's far from the focus. She's nowhere near the focus in this story. I could make an argument she's about the 5th person that's being looked at. You've got Bianca, you've got Bayley, you've got Alexa, you've got Rhea. Maybe then it's Asuka. I really don't know. So I kind of feel like she's right down the pecking order. So I don't know. It's hard to know if she is doing it to just remind the fans I'm a killer and I'm getting fed up and there is a darkness if I want to go to it. And it might be something she's doing and not something WWE are doing. Or it could be, because it is worth mentioning, she has tweeted out pictures like this before. This isn't the first time she's done this. She has sent out pictures before like this, where people got very excited about the fact she could be going that way, and it never happened. So, again, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. Equally, it could be that WWE have knocked her down to where she is right now, and then said to her, right, tweet out this Kana image, yeah? And we'll start building you back up as we get to WrestleMania season, as we start building towards WrestleMania and we start building towards the Royal Rumble. So it's really hard at this stage to know who's driving it. What I would say is it's noteworthy. It's absolutely worth noticing, and it was all trending and everything. She put a picture out about 20 hours ago and then put one out about 2 hours ago. So she's put out a couple now of her as Kana, the dark version. Yeah, it's a version of Asuka we've not seen in WWE. It's a version I'd love to see. It's a direction I would love for them to go in. I feel like the time is right to do it, what with WrestleMania approaching and the Royal Rumble approaching. You could heavily tease that she is starting to get fed up, and you could heavily tease that she's getting ready to snap, and then she comes out at the Rumble as this dark version. That would be sick. That would be sick because that would be interesting, because it's not a return. It's not Legends, but it is a character change, and it would be oh my God, what is this? Certainly if you just tweaked the music, made the music a bit darker as well, and then brought her out and she just came in and just started killing everyone. Oh my God, it would be insane. So I'm totally down for it. I totally would love to see it. I'm a massive Asuka fan, and sign me up. I just can't sit here and say that that's the direction it's going in at the moment, because as I said, it could be that this is being driven by her rather than WWE, and WWE might not have any plans to go in that direction. So definitely one to keep an eye on, though. So Binky Walt, shout out to you. That's a good point. I did want to get to that, actually, and talk about Asuka. James says NXT 534, they should put Asuka on SmackDown. Asuka on SmackDown would be sick. Imagine Asuka and Ronda. Asuka and Ronda would be fire. An Asuka that was darker as well could really push Ronda to the limit. There's not many women that you see. I think Ronda's a bit of a problem, and we've said this because a lot of people don't like Ronda because she's, so dominant, and also the fact that she's not the best professional wrestler. She is a very good fighter, though. But she's not someone that is kind of seen as being, doing some of the eye-catching stuff that people like. I don't give a flip about that. You're talking about a woman that is legit one of the baddest in the world. It shouldn't matter if her drop kick doesn't look that great. It shouldn't really matter if her clothesline doesn't look that great. There's a narrative that's built up around Ronda that she's this just awful waste of space, which, considering how deadly she is, like, considering she could legit, like, rip the arms off every woman in that division if she wanted to, I just don't, I can't subscribe to this notion that she doesn't belong there. Fancy not thinking Ronda didn't belong in WWE when she's like one of the baddest women on the planet and could like legit kill them all. Like, she brings a level of legitimacy that is at times sorely missing in wrestling. And I really respect her for that. I do agree that her promos are not great, and we've spoken at length about those. I do not agree with some of the botch clips that I've seen on Twitter that she's botched it. There was one doing the rounds of her and Shotzi, which was actually Shotzi's fault and it wasn't Ronda's fault. But, a lot of, again, it's what I keep saying though, you have to remember that on Twitter, it's just a load of kids. It's a load of kids that haven't got a clue what the flip they're on about, right? And just because they've seen other people talking about how bad Ronda is, then they, just copy it. It's as simple as that. So, this isn't a let's defend Ronda stream, but I do like the idea of her having, like, because she's very aggressive. And I think that aggression could come out against Asuka because Asuka can deal with that aggression. I think when you go in there against some other girls, maybe Aaliyah, for example, right? I don't know how aggressive you can be with Aaliyah, right? I don't know how aggressive you can be with Shotzi. I feel like you probably could be quite aggressive with Shotzi. But there's definitely some girls you couldn't. But with Asuka, I've got the feeling that she is not a stranger to being thrown around like an MMA mat. And, considering how good her transitions are, her scrambles, her arm bars, her submissions, like she is very impressive, Asuka, from an MMA point of view. And so I think that she and Ronda could have some really good matches. So I completely agree. I would love to see Asuka go over to SmackDown, and I would love to see her against Ronda, because I think that those would be two badasses just going at it, man. There'd be two badasses just going at it. And honestly, I mean, who cares about like the odd little botch as long as it doesn't hurt the other person. Like, if she, like, tries to grab the arm and slips and can't quite get it or whatever, the way that wrestling seems to be going is, like, anytime that you can clearly see something didn't quite go to plan, it's like, oh, she's rubbish. She can't even do that. But it's just like, man, this is such a negative way to look at wrestling. Such a weird and negative way to look at wrestling. Like, it's a contest, it's a battle, it's two people. You watch a street fight. You go down and watch a fight outside a bar, right? You tell me if everything lands correctly. You tell me if everything looks perfect. Go and watch a street fight outside a bar, and you tell me if it's like highly technical and all this kind of stuff, and that they're not like slipping over or there's not like a little botch in there. Like, I feel like as long as it doesn't hurt the other person, as long as it doesn't look completely stupid, right? Because if it looks completely stupid, I get it, yeah? Because they've made a fool of themselves, right? I get it. So as long as it doesn't look completely stupid, and as long as it doesn't, like, hurt the other person, any other little things like that, just, who cares? Who cares? It does feel like wrestling, it does feel like wrestling fandom has changed. And I feel like I've noticed that over the past few years. And I don't know if it was quite as bad as this before, like lockdown and all of that. I don't know. I don't know if there's like people that have got into wrestling during lockdown. I don't know if Dave Meltzer's influence has become greater. I don't know if like all the botch channels on social media have become a bigger influence. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know. The way that people watch wrestling and what they're watching for seems to have changed over the past few years. Does seem to be different now. And so it's a very interesting conversation, one that I'm quite happy to dig into. But yeah, I I agree. I would love to see Ronda and Asuka, and that's interesting about NXT. It did feel quieter than usual. Normally that would be up around the 600,000 mark, so 500 and some at thousand. I reckon that's probably what I was thinking it was going to come in at. Mitchell, hello. How are you, bud? Give me 1 second because I need to go over to Fight TV because I haven't even set up the stream yet because I am rubbish. Right, here we go. Mitchell said, serious question. We do a lot of serious stuff when it comes to the AEW streams. I feel like we have a laugh when it comes to like Raw and NXT, but when it comes to AEW, I feel like we get a bit more serious on a Wednesday night. I'm all right with that. I'm down with that. Do you think AEW will do an intergender match between Bow Wow and Jade, or will Bow Wow bring in someone? Not Sasha. I cannot see it being Sasha. So I'm not expecting Sasha. If it turns out to be Sasha, I will be absolutely stunned. If you've got Sasha Banks, she is an absolute. I mean, she is arguably your biggest star. I mean, the appeal of Sasha, the reach of Sasha, the Sasha stands alone. If you was able to get Sasha, like, you have got a monster star. So I don't know, to bring her in and have her go after Jade Cargill, and like go into that sort of a program, like, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like she needs to be right at the top of the card, closing shows. I don't know if you do that. She needs to be opening shows, closing shows. She could potentially be one of your faces of the company. So I don't know. I don't see Sasha coming in, and I don't see it being in a Jade Cargill storyline. But then, you know, trying to second guess Tony Khan can be a bit tricky sometimes because he's done plenty of things that I wouldn't have done. So I don't see that. I don't see her coming in and going after a AEW mid-card women's belt. I've got to think if she's coming in, she's going to be going straight after the, you know, Britt Baker, going after Paige, going after Jamie Hayter. I think you'd benchmark her there rather than Jade Cargill. Because it's not like you need to bring her in and introduce her to people. Everyone will know who she is if she comes in. So it's not like she needs a run with the mid-card belt. So I really don't think it's going to be that. Do I think they'll do an intergender match? They could do an intergender match, and actually I wouldn't be against it. We were talking about intergender wrestling the other day, and I'm actually not the biggest fan. The reason why I'm not the biggest fan is because of the fact that I feel like a woman that is at the peak of her physical powers probably isn't beating a man that's at the peak of his physical powers, because obviously men and women are different. You know, we know that male boxers can hit harder. We know that male runners can run faster. Like, I am treading carefully here because I'm not trying to put down women and women's sports in any way whatsoever, because I really love watching women's wrestling. But a woman against a man is something that is a bit tricky. It's just hard to make it believable for me. Obviously, there's many exceptions, right? Many exceptions. And one such exception would be Jade Cargill against Bow Wow. And the reason why I say that is because I don't think Bow Wow is at the peak of his wrestling abilities or at the peak of his physical conditioning. He is a rapper who raps, and I'm sure he goes to the gym. But it's one thing to go to the gym and work out and have muscles and a bit of strength. It's a completely other thing to be Jade Cargill, who's very muscular herself, but also be getting trained by Bryan Danielson to actually be a fantastic wrestler and actually learn how to put on some different holds. Because, you know, I think back to like the dungeon, the Stu Hart dungeon. He was an old man. He was an old man in his 70s, and he would be like tying up these young wrestlers, getting them into like all these different, and they would be screaming in pain. They would be crying in pain. So if you have got that ability and you know how to do these different holds and these different moves, I can believe as a fan that Jade would be able to go into the ring, and against someone like Bow Wow, I could believe that she could find a way putting on some of these holds and like causing Bow Wow like problems. Plus, you look at Jade and she really is an exception. I mean, she's not small, right? She's not Candice LeRae. She's not flipping Io Sky. She's not small. She's got a good height to her. She's jacked and ripped more than I'll ever be in my life, right? More than most guys. Like, she is an incredible condition. So I look at her as being like an exception, I suppose, in the same way that China was an exception. So intergender wrestling, for me personally, I struggle with it when it's like a female wrestler like against a proper male wrestler. I do struggle with that. But if it was like a female wrestler against your average Joe or someone that doesn't wrestle like Bow Wow, I can definitely buy into that. I can buy into that. For me, I think it just comes back to like believability. Like, make no mistake about it, all the female wrestlers are killing me, right? They're all killing me. I'm fully aware that that's what would happen. But do I want to see them go up against Austin Theory? Like, do I want to see them go up against Bobby Lashley? Do I want to see them go up against Roman Reigns or Kevin Owens? Or like, no, I don't, to be honest. And if you're talking intergender wrestling, then surely those are the sort of names we're talking about, because those kind of guys make up the majority of the roster, like for WWE, for example. So you might be able to find the odd guy. Like they did Becky against James Ellsworth, and that was fine. Like that, I wasn't bothered in that. I didn't have an issue with that. But I sort of feel like WWE feel the same, which is why we just don't see intergender wrestling in like WWE. It's something that plays out on the indies, and I think the indie crowd are quite accepting of it. I don't know that the indie crowd look at it the same way I look at it. Because it seems to play out on a lot more regular basis on the indies. And listen, if you're into it, if you enjoy it, more power to you. Do you know what I mean? I don't care. It's not something that like makes me super angry or anything like this. I ain't bothered. But it's just, is it something I personally look for? And it's not. But Bow Wow against Jade Cargill could be all right. So to answer your question, don't know. Haven't got a clue which way they're going with it. I think they could do Bow Wow against Jade Cargill. It might be good for Jade to get the win over a guy, and then, you know, that gives her some bragging rights. And so they could go that way, or they could look to have someone represent Bow Wow. But I'd be stunned if that turned out to be Sasha Banks. I really would. I don't want to see a man bigger than a woman hitting her, says Trini. I'm sorry, but as a woman, there's no way I want to see that on TV and reconcile it into my mind as entertainment. That's true. Yeah, I mean, that's a really interesting point, because that's, I must admit, even a side that I didn't even consider. I was looking at it more from a realism, believability point of view, but looking at it from that perspective, then, you know, there is that side of it, which, you know, is that entertainment? Is what is a man punching a woman? Is that entertainment? It's a really, really good point. This one, I mean, like, what I will say about this, and actually about quite a few of the things that we've spoke about, is that this is a little bit fiery, I should imagine. You know, there's a little bit controversial. There's definitely going to be some, I would imagine, firm thoughts on these subjects. You know, there's going to be some passion out there, people passionately for it, people passionately against it, and that's absolutely fine. Each to their own. We've said this so many times. When it comes to wrestling, it's a lot like music. Some people like folk, some people don't. Some people like metal music, some people don't. Some people like pop, some people don't, right? And it's going to be the same with things like intergender wrestling, and it's going to be the same with even companies like New Japan, AEW, WWE. There's going to be people that are into it. There's going to be people that aren't. And I suppose really it's just down to you to decide what it is that you are into, and just to or be into everything like James. It's a case of like finding your favorites, finding what speaks to you, basically. That's all it is. James said, wrestling tribalism is atrocious. People just enjoy it and don't hate on it. What's the point in it? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, again, actually, that ties in quite nicely with what we were just saying. So it's kind of like, if you don't enjoy something, then yeah, don't watch it, because that, I think that for some reason, something has happened when AEW started, whereby people had to decide whether it was for them or if it wasn't. Now, if it's not for you, then I think some of those people just like, right, this isn't for me, and they left. But there is a chunk of people that stuck around and just wanted to lay into it. Just wanted to, like, I think maybe they couldn't get their heads around why people liked it. Or maybe, like, they wanted to ridicule why people... I don't know. It's really difficult to know, isn't it? It's really difficult to know why these things happen. Like, there has been a lot of attention. Like, I find things like AEW botches funny, for example. I think the videos that they can put out on their Twitter account is humorous, right? And it reminds me a lot of just Botchamania. The only thing I would say is that Botchamania is funny and humorous, but it at least, like, has a go at everyone. Do you know what I mean? It has clips from WWE. It has clips from AEW. It has clips from the Indies. It has clips from here. It has clips from there. So you can't really accuse Botchamania of targeting, like, anyone, because it's just like, these are the botches and come and laugh at them type thing. Some are like, say, AEW botches, which again I find very humorous, and I do like click on and enjoy watching. They specifically just go after, like, the AEW side of it. And so that feels a little more targeted. And there can be certain comments that get made as well that, again, just make it feel a little more targeted. And you do start to wonder, like, well, why do these accounts exist? Why is this negativity around? Why is wrestling here? Why is this a thing that's happening? What started this? Is it because, like, some people are worried that AEW is going to grow and destroy WWE? So maybe they're looking to try and take some shots at AEW before that happens. Could it be something along those lines, do you think? I genuinely, I don't know. I feel like there might be something in that. There might be something in, like, well, let's rip into these other companies because we don't want, and vice versa, AEW fans ripping into WWE to try and knock them down so that AEW can get bigger. And maybe, as you say, maybe it is just like this tribalism that's out there now. I would say that tribalism mixed with like the botches and the looking out for botches, mixed in with, there's a few different things sort of like just all mixed together, which is just, it does create a lot of toxicity. And I don't know, it seems to be that the internet wrestling community is evolving and evolving into a quite unhealthy place, evolving away from just enjoying the shows. There's certainly people out there that do, though, and there's certainly people out there that put out some good, wholesome stuff. But I think there's also like a side which is not as constructive. Let's put it that way, not as constructive. It's just interesting where the landscape is at the moment. Days is between a couple of teats. Boom. Lovely. Just where I want to be. FN Twidiot said, I think women and men's matches can be done as long as it's distasteful and indiscriminate. Women getting hit with a chair the same as a man in a fight. Tables, ladders, chairs, bring it on. As long as it's distasteful and indiscriminate. Don't know. I mean, it's fair enough, but I can understand the argument of, like, do you want to see a woman being hit with a chair by a man? I can understand that argument. How do you watch in the UK? It's on Fight TV. It's in Fight TV. Stuttering Steve said, I'm guilty at looking for botches. Oh, it's not. I watch AEW botches. I've seen episode of Botchmania. I've put videos up on this channel of botches, right? Because that is something that people enjoy. So this isn't, I don't want to get this twisted. This isn't let's lay into everyone that enjoys botches, because that's not really what we're saying. What we're saying is that there's people out there that I think post stuff about botches and enjoy watching botches for a very different reason from you and me. So, like, if I put a botch video up, it's like, guys, look at this. Like, you know, there was basically, look at this. There was a mistake that happened. Like, oh, next time. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like, I don't know, like, I'm sure you have those outtake shows. You know, we have a show here called It'll Be All Right on the Night. And that is basically, if something goes wrong on a TV show, they'll show it, like, you know, what happened. So this was the first take and the camera fell over. Yeah. So then they had to do it again. And so they'll show you when it went wrong. And it's just like an outtake show. So for me, like, if I like put a botch video up, something like that, it's an outtake, like, oh, this, you know, it's live and this shouldn't have happened. And, oh, better look next time. Yeah. But that, I think, is fine. But there's another side of it, which is a bit more sinister and a little bit more darker. And, you know, when you see things like hashtag fire Ronda Rousey, for example, yeah, that ain't people laughing at, like, a Ronda botch, is it? That ain't people that are, it'll be all right on the night. So that's a very different part of the internet wrestling community. That's the side that I'm got a bit of an issue with, right? That's the side that I think is the toxic side, like tweeting hashtag fire Ronda Rousey, like tweeting that you want someone to be fired on Twitter. I could understand it if she was like caught punching a puppy or something like this, but like that side of it I've got an issue with. And then also you've got, you know, just as I say, like maybe like the AEW botch accounts, like I watch them. I find the presentation very funny because they put like music behind, but some of the comments that get put underneath those videos, and even some of the comments from those accounts themselves, can really overstep a mark. That is also not, look at this, guys. Oh, it's not, that's also not cheery, is it? That's also got like a darker side to it. So yeah, I don't know. To be honest, like it's a bigger conversation than what we obviously have got time for, and it's enjoy what you enjoy, yeah. And there's no shame in enjoying botches. Plenty of people, even wrestlers, enjoy watching Botchamania. So there's no problem or shame in watching botches or Botchamania or things along those lines. The problem comes, I think, when it becomes sinister, and so that's kind of the conversation that we've been having. Just to try and tidy that up. I think it'd be very easy for people to kind of take that the wrong way. But either way, we've got 15 seconds to go and we will be underway. Thomas said, I think Tony is missing the boat on intergender matches. I know for a fact Saraya can take on two men at the same time, and that would have been perfect for the 24/7 title. I honestly don't know what he's going to do with Saraya. Now that she is done with Britt Baker, I think it's going to be quite interesting to see where she goes from here. Miro is 100% fit and healthy, but AEW don't have any creative plans for him. Jilly, shout out to you. Right. We're just seeing last week, William Regal was loaded into the back of an ambulance. And I think we're going to open the show with Ricky Starks. Oh, actually, we're opening it with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. Right, here we go then. The Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. Ricky Starks making his way down. I actually don't know who is in this match, you know. We'll have a look, see who's going to be included. So we got Ricky Starks. WWE been around before I was born. Like AEW, What year did it start? I don't mind. AEW, very poor storyline. Tony has got credited like WWE to me. Hasn't got credit. Yeah, that's understandable. If you watch AEW and you don't think that it is meeting your expectations, I can understand that, because AEW doesn't meet my expectations. Like, I've been very vocal. Maybe you could argue too vocal sometimes about some of their failings and some of the things that haven't hit the mark for me personally. But I still watch it because there's still things here that I do enjoy. If it ever got to the point where I was watching these shows and there was just seriously nothing here, or maybe just one or two things, I would stop the streams. Because to be honest, these streams get, I don't know, 4,000-5,000 views. I can find a different video to put up on a Wednesday that'll probably do that anyway. So it's not like we do it for the views. Here's Dustin Rhodes making his way down. I think MJF is doing quite a bit of lifting. I think that Jamie Hayter is doing quite a bit of lifting. I think Britt Baker is obviously always a star that they can pull the trigger on. I think that, Danielson is obviously very good. The Acclaimed are doing some really good stuff. There's some good stuff. I'm intrigued to see what they'll do with Ricky Starks. We have got, so we had two people come down. We had Ricky Starks, we had Dustin Rhodes. Now all of a sudden, a load of people have just jumped into the ring. We got Kip Sabian on the outside, and we've got Orange Cassidy. Matt Hardy is in the ring as well. We've got Sean Spears. I think I saw Sean Spears. We've got Brian Cage. Orange Cassidy is on the outside. He hasn't got in the ring yet. There is no MJF. So MJF, I believe, has won this for the past 3 years. So looks like we are going to be getting a new winner of the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. We've got Butcher in the one corner. Here's Orange Cassidy with Kip Sabian. Orange Cassidy going into the ring. Santa is in the front row. We do have someone in a... Oh, my God. I saw someone in a Santa hat. I thought you was talking about them. And then I just saw full-blown Santa. Yes, Santa is in the front row. Chop coming in by Kip Sabian. We've got Ricky Starks over against the ropes. Who would you have win this? I think I would have... I'd have Ricky Starks. I wonder if Ricky Starks getting that entrance is a little bit of a hint that they see big things for him. I feel like the winner of this should be a face, because obviously MJF is a heel. So I feel like it should be a face. Ricky Starks feels like a good option. Jungle Boy's in there. Jungle Boy's... Jack Perry's not a bad shout. Jungle Boy's in there. Orange Cassidy charging. He goes over the top, but holds onto the rope. Orange Cassidy holding onto that top rope, trying to get himself back in. He's trying to skin the cat. He has managed to grab Kip Sabian, and he's trying to eliminate him, but kicks him. Looks like he's trying to come in. Shot to the midsection. Blade. Well, that's it. Orange Cassidy is eliminated. So the blade on the outside helps eliminate Orange Cassidy. Ricky versus MJF, says Alexis. Blaze Radio, hello. Shout out to you. Kip Sabian is eliminated. Kip Sabian to the outside. Shots here by the Butcher. Dustin on his feet. Big overhand. I tell you what, the Butcher here has got quite a juicy beard on him. I really like the look of the Butcher here, you know. The Butcher looks really cool. The Butcher looks like a grizzled old veteran. He's got a bit of Skinner about him. He's got like a bit of grey in the beard, which obviously I can associate with. But I kind of like it. He looks like a grizzled old veteran. He looks like he's been in the wars, man. Against the ropes, clothesline. Dustin's eliminated. Dustin goes out the ring. Look at the Butcher. Butcher looks sick. He sports a beard really well, the Butcher. Over in the corner, Butcher shot to the midsection. Might be really cool if they present the Butcher like a grizzled old like veteran. Like if they start to have him like put in like these kind of 6 submission holds and like people having to tap out, like that could be kind of interesting to like reposition how the Butcher is presented. Dalton Castle is on the edge of the ring. Brian Cage trying to eliminate him. Dalton Castle getting back into the ring. Gets picked up by Brian Cage. Castle thrown over the top and eliminated. In a Western movie, black shirt, black beanie, Days would be the villain. Not just in a Western movie, just in any movie. Jungle Boy in between the ropes. Brian Cage going to look to suplex. Jungle Boy up in the air. Edge of the ring. Jungle Boy back elbow by Brian Cage. Super kick there by Jungle Boy. This is risky. Double knees. Brian Cage eliminated. Brian Cage spills out the ring. The Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal continues. Picture in picture. Days the Butcher is actually the son of Skinner and the Berserker. It's very much getting those vibes. Yeah, very much getting those vibes. He looks great, though. He's so good with, like, a big, full, juicy beard. And, as I said, I'd really look to make him a bit of, like, an old master. I think he would be better if he had a full name. What's his real name? What's the Butcher's real name? Butcher, AEW. His name is Andy Williams. So I would go with Andrew the Butcher Williams or something like that. Like, rather than just being the Butcher, go with, like, something the Butcher Williams. I much prefer him. I'm just looking. Like, he had the big, juicy mustache before. I much prefer him with this big beard. Much prefer him with this big beard. Isn't it funny? It's funny how, like, just something like that can, like, really inspire you. Like, you can really, like, just look at the fact that he's just changed his facial hair and go, oh, my God, I feel like we can definitely do something with him now. Shot to the midsection. Back elbow there by Jungle Boy. Real name is Leonard Nimoy, said Miss Clown. Do you feel the majority of the AEW roster doesn't have much momentum? I'm looking at this match and they're not doing much with them. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say that's got to be one of their biggest problems at the moment is that there's a lot of kind of mid-card talent, dare I say even low-card talent, that there's just not really anything happening with. But they've got, you know, Dynamite is so important. It's such an important show for them that everything that goes on needs to be, like, you know, worthwhile. And so, like, I think they just struggle a little bit to kind of build feuds. I think what they're trying to do is maybe use the other shows to build some stories, and then the payoff is Dynamite. And maybe that's the problem when you only watch Dynamite. You just then start getting a load of matches that are paying off for people that watch AEW, but you're missing out on the build. Matt is in a little bit of trouble. Matt is on the edge of on the outside. Ricky Starks on the outside. Both guys getting back into the ring. There's loads of flashes. I don't know where those flashes are coming from. Is that someone's camera? Someone brought a flipping flash camera. Shot coming in there by the Butcher. Matt Hardy is grabbing Ricky Starks. So we're getting down to about, how many have we got? 7. You never know if there's others that are in the match, though, because there could be some people that were eliminated and are just on the outside. But just looking at it, I can see Ethan Page. I think that's Lee Moriarty, is it? Butcher's gone. That's a shame. Butcher's gone. Ricky Starks. We've got Jungle Boy. Lee Moriarty with Ricky Starks. Here's Jungle Boy. Trying to eliminate Lee Moriarty, and he does. Big kick, and Jungle Boy goes thanks to Morrissey. Morrissey with a big boot, and Jungle Boy is eliminated. So Morrissey is helping Moriarty to beat up Jungle Boy on the outside. Jungle Boy getting slammed hard into the edge of the ring, you know. Getting slammed really hard. So Jungle Boy deaded at the moment. In the ring, we got Ethan Page. Ricky Starks. That was brutal, man. That was brutal. We got Matt Hardy. So, hold up. This isn't a shot at the actual AEW title. It's for MJF's Stupid Ring. It is for the... I don't actually know what else you get. You do get the Diamond Ring. I don't know if that gives you a shot at the title. I must admit, if you don't get a shot at the title, then that doesn't seem like the best of prizes. Shot to the midsection by Ethan Page. Over by the ropes is Ricky Starks. Nobody wants to hire that guy, says Jonathan. Days, how far are you from Australia, says Blaze Radio. I'm a long way from Australia. Must be. I think it is literally halfway around the world, you know. In Australia, there's a Manic Street Preacher song called Australia. Can't help but keep singing it, you know. Right, we're still underway with this. Jungle eliminated. It reminds me of Brian being eliminated in 2015. If you look at Brian Cage, Miro, Malachi, Madison Rayne, they were killing it in WWE and Impact. If you will now, AEW have killed them, said Asib. There is definitely work that needs to be done in that mid-cards. Definitely. Right, we're down to 4. Oh, we're down to 3. Right, so we've got Matt Hardy, we've got Ethan Page, and we've got Ricky Starks. So Ethan Page is having a go at Matt Hardy at the moment. The crowds are telling them to delete. Matt Hardy is not happy with Ethan Page. He's giving the delete gesture. Matt Hardy goes after Ricky Starks, starts throwing in some big clubbing blows. Ethan Page and Matt Hardy working together momentarily. Ethan Page looking for the twist of fate, but Matt Hardy eliminated. Ethan Page comes over. We're down to 2. It's going to be Ricky Starks or Ethan Page. It's got to be Starks, innit? It's got to be Starks. Starks in the corner is proper fired up. The crowd are behind him. Starks charging over. No. Kick. Down goes Ricky Starks. Starks and Page, the final 2 is boring, said Eric. Matt sacrifice over the top. Starks wins. Ricky Starks wins. Ricky Starks is the winner of the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. Here's MJF. So MJF's music's just hit. So Ricky Starks just getting a drink of water. Here is MJF. with the Triple B belt. The big Burberry belt. Unveiled the Triple B world title last week. MJF is the real Judas, and there's a sign being held up by someone dressed as Jesus. We've got Jesus in the crowd holding up a sign saying MJF is the real Judas. Very good. Very good. Very good. Starks wins. Starks wins. MJF. I didn't see that sign. Did you hear MJF wants to leave AEW because he wants to go to WWE? He keeps talking about Triple H. That was in last week's AEW. Yeah, I don't expect him to leave. Little Birdie told me that they didn't want to show up tonight. Who's not showing up tonight? I'm a bad man, said MJF. He said a week from tonight, he'll be a 4-time Dynamite Diamond Ring champion. Triple B. Richard. Now Richard. MJF promos are so captivating. Richard. Now Richard. Let me talk to you now, Richard. They talk about you like you're some underutilized god of professional wrestling. But do you want to know the truth, bud? Here's the truth. Shut the F up chance for MJF. In comparison to me, you're the absolute drizzle in shiz. Miss Clown, shout out to you. Considering you've stolen everything from The Rock, you're nothing more than a dollar store Dwayne. He calls him a dollar store Dwayne. The Pebble. I'm going to start calling you the Pebble. Little Pebble. Dollar store Dwayne. MJF's killing it, man. He's doing such a good job. I've never understood The Rock comparisons. He isn't like him aside from skin color. LA Knight is more like The Rock, says Corvids. Right. I don't care that you're absolute. I'm a generational talent. And my reign of terror has only just begun. Smile on the face of MJF, and Ricky Starks barges past MJF to get a microphone. Please kill it. You need to kill it. Come on, Ricky. There's big Ricky chance. Everyone wants Ricky to kill this now. Oh, well, Maxi Pad. I should have expected a fifth-rate Roddy Piper. Maxi pad chance. Maxi pad. Maxi pad. I think MJF just said, if this sticks, you're going to die. He said, you trash the local sports team, you trash the people, the low-hanging fruit is running dry. Your shirt is too small. You got a terrible ass haircut. Yeah, man. He killed it. Brilliant. Brilliant. This back and forth between MJF and Ricky Starks is brilliant. Great classic heel work and babyface that can go toe-to-toe. Brilliant. The cheap shoes and the cheap heat. You're our new AEW champion. This is a big responsibility that you don't know anything about. Really good. This is awesome, says Let Him In. Starks hit him bad, just as hard. It's really good, wasn't it? Still going. Tell you what, you can hear Dusty and Ricky Starks. You can really hear Dusty. I've been here, busting my ass, whilst you went off to Greece for 3 months. I turn up to meet and greets, but you just blow it off. It's really good. MJF is not better than The Miz. What did you see? AEW ratings, says Shabazz. This has been fun, said Trini. Noah said MJF's promo work is top tier. When I lived in my car in South Austin, guess what I was doing? I was grinding. Good. The only thing I would say is that maybe it's just been a little long here from Ricky Starks. He said, next week's a big deal. I'm putting up and I'm shutting you up. I don't need a name to beat your ass. Next week, I'm going to slap that mole off your neck. This really feels like Ricky has been like, this has been building for a long time, and he's like, he's taking this time, and I feel like this promo back and forth has been as long as the Battle Royal. He throws the microphone down. MJF kicks him. Low blow. Low blow by MJF. MJF goes over in the corner. Starks is getting back up to his feet. MJF coming over. Against the ropes goes Starks. Spear by Starks. Big pop from the crowds. I tell you what, this match is going to be mega next week, you know. This match is going to be mega. MJF is fantastic heel. Ricky Starks, they've just built up here so well. Easy, innit, wrestling? It's pretty easy when you think about it. Build up a monster heel, build up a monster babyface, collide them together. Winter is coming. Didn't realize that was next week. Winter is coming next week. MJF versus Ricky Starks for the AEW World Championship. AEW World Championship. The only downside is you just can't see MJF losing the title at this stage, can you? It's the only downside. They gave us a reason to care about that match, said the Beach Kevin. I don't see the hype with Starks, says Eric. I think that he's really good in ring, so he's really solid. I think that he's a credible babyface. I think he is someone that's been putting in the work, and he is someone that's been putting in the grind. And then when he just got onto the microphone there, he, you know, it's not as if he was waffling away and we weren't getting any, like, interesting lines. You know, I'll slap that mole off the side of your neck. He started by calling him Maxi Pad, which the crowd jumped on straight away. It really felt like it felt like what MJF had been saying, you know, saying that he was a dollar store Dwayne and all this. There was a concern that Ricky Starks would get on the mic and it just was going to be flat. Thankfully, it wasn't. I really felt like he came back and fired back with some good shots of his own. I do just think maybe it went on a touch long. I think you could have took out a good chunk of what Ricky Starks said and just had the big epic lines and just made him look, you know, if you think about The Rock does a fantastic job of like delivering a few lines and then looking out at the people. Do you know what I mean? And like letting the atmosphere build and letting the people chant. And, you know, The Rock always gave like the raised eyebrow and the head snap. And like really took it all in. And, you know, that served a few purposes. One of the things it did is it really brought the people in. So like, you know, it really built up the noise and it really, the people will, if the people are into you and the people are loving the segment, any silence they will fill. So if he was to not blah, 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 like talk all the time and just like, you know, have a few like gestures of some kind. I don't know if he's got them yet. He certainly can't do the rocks. But if he had some gesture of some kind, even if it was just to like look out at the people and look all the way around, or maybe point all the way around at all the people or something like this, like then like the people will fill in that silence. And also it takes time away from him having to talk. So he's involving the crowd. He's building up the atmosphere. He's having less time that he needs to fill with actual talking. I'd like to see that from him. I'd like to see that as a development for him, because it felt like there was just a lot of blah, 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 blah. And some of it we didn't necessarily need. But credible winner, has worked really hard. I think everyone feels that he deserves this shot and this opportunity. I think he's got the likability factor. I think he's really solid in the ring. He certainly wasn't just completely overpowered by MJF with the promos. Good, just really good. Really good. I'm really excited for that match. I'm really excited. And I suppose, you know, when we spoke about there being a reset by putting the belt onto MJF, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about now people getting opportunities that maybe wouldn't have when Moxley was champ. You know, when Moxley was champ, I don't know that we would have got Moxley versus Ricky Starks. And I certainly don't think we would have got a build like that if Moxley was champion. So by having it on MJF, we get that really fun back and forth. They both take shots at each other. It makes the match a bit more juicier. Yeah, I'm really that'll be a match that I'm going into next week. Really looking forward to. Winter is coming. Didn't realize it was next week. I suppose in a way it makes it a bit of a surprise. They're doing FTR Acclaimed this week. You would think maybe they would just do a segment that builds it for next week, because that's a big match, isn't it? That's a big match, FTR against the Acclaimed. So I'm surprised they're doing that, but here's Moxley. We were at commercial break, but we're coming back now. I'm starting to like the cowboy, Hangman Page said Moxley. He did his talking with the fists. There's too much talking, says Moxley. This is all elite. This is all elite wrestling, not all elite talking. I don't mind him saying this. I would say, though, that considering we've just seen killer promos, to have Moxley saying this is all elite wrestling, not all elite talking, it just feels like this promo's in the wrong place. We've just seen some really good promos that we've just been praising, and now Moxley's here saying this is all elite wrestling, not all elite talking. There's too much talking. So he's sort of just undermining what we've just seen. This, for me, needed to come later in the show. Hangman Page, you want another piece? You know where to find me. Boom. Right, Darby Allin coming up next. So I think it's Darby Allin against Samoa Joseph. I think this is going to be our next match. If you are just joining us, then missed a good first half an hour. We had the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. It's pretty fun. There was some... I really like the Butcher. I know I keep banging on about it, but that was a standout for me. The rest of it, I wasn't crazy about, to be honest. There was some fun stuff that was going on in there. But I wanted Starks to win pretty much from the start, and he did. And then we got great promos. It's always good to see a Battle Royal. So, fun way to start the show. Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin. Diamond encrusted plasters. Is that something they're going to start selling, is it? Why wouldn't we get Moxley Starks if Mox was champion? Oh, because that would be face versus face, and I don't think they would look to do that. I think that they have got enough heels that they can chuck at Moxley, and I think that they would probably not look to do Ricky Starks versus John Moxley, or I could say that it's a lot less likely. Because I think, like, when you've got as I said, when you've got a big heel like MJF and you've got a big face like Ricky Starks, I think that's where, I mean, look at that back and forth that we just got there. You've not split the crowd at all. I think what really helps is the crowd were, before, as MJF was about to talk, shut the F up chants from the crowd. The crowd made it very clear from the start where their loyalty was. The crowd made it very, very clear who they wanted to see win. And so, shut the F up chants. They were very quick to jump onto maxi pads when Ricky Starks came out with that line. Don't forget, MJF called Ricky Starks Pebble. If this had been two faces and the crowd had been split, some people might have jumped on that and started chanting Pebble and started laying into Ricky Starks, which would have just brought him down a little bit. It's so much better to do it that way, where you've got a monster heel that people are happy to hate, and then you've got a babyface that people are happy to get behind and support. If you do babyface versus babyface, you're splitting the crowd. You're splitting the crowd, and you can do it, but I would say it's less likely. It's less likely you would go that way, and I certainly don't think it would be as good. I mean, even the fact that Moxley promo against the MJF promo is just nowhere near as good. A John Moxley promo is nowhere near as good as an MJF one. And then, as I said, there will be people into Moxley. There will be people into Ricky Starks. Be hard to make Ricky Starks feel as big as he does right now, because plenty of people will side with Moxley in that feud. So that's why, MJF being champion is going to open up some opportunities for people that I just don't think would have got them before. Miss Clown One said, "Have you ever sucked and seen? Sucked it and see. Lollipops obs," says Miss Clown. Sucked it and see. I feel like that's a catchphrase somewhere, and I can't remember what it's a catchphrase from. Suck it and see. Is that Chubba Chubs? Chubba Chubs. Suck it and see. Or is it like Fisherman's Friend or something? I don't know. It's like ringing a bell, but I can't quite place it. John said Ricky needs to show that he can hang in the ring with MJF. Yeah, it's gonna be big for him next week. It's gonna be really, really big. I think that he hasn't had chance to show loads in ring, but I've seen him in NWA, and I thought he was good. I've seen him grow, if you will, in AEW, and whenever we have had chance to see him, I've always thought he was solid. But yeah, this by far is going to be one of the biggest stages, that he's ever going to have competed at in his whole career. So there's going to be there's going to be pressure. I mean, everything here is pressure for Ricky. That promo was pressure for Ricky. He had to show that he could hang with MJF on the microphone. And now you're right, he's going to have to show that he can put on a banging match. I think they can. I can't see any reason why they can't. They've got the dynamics right. They've got the build right. I think that all the pieces are there. Oof. Darby Allin just slammed on an exposed concrete floor. Oof. Just explaining, caught me no harm. William, shout out to you. Is AEW on? TBS is stuck on Sheldon, said Mage6661. Well, I've got it, but I've got it in the UK. I've got it on Fight TV, so yeah, I've got it, but I don't think that helps you, to be honest. Still to come tonight, we got Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. We're going to be hearing from Jamie Hayter. Of course, we've already heard from MJF. I'm guessing, heard from Moxley. I'm guessing that's what that was. Still to come, we got this trios match, Rich. That'll be the down point, really. But also the Acclaimed versus FTR, which I'm guessing is going to be our main event. Darby Allin going down in the corner, and Samoa Joe taking his time, being methodical. Legend Killer, hello, shout out to you. Why does the ref attempt countouts but then goes to check on Darby? The countout situation is very frustrating in AEW, to be truthful. There's so many times where the ref should just be counting, and I think he knows that the wrestler's not getting back in. The refs just seem to make excuses for the wrestlers not getting in time. It's as simple as that, isn't it? There's not really any other way of putting it. The ref will count, and if the ref can see that the person ain't getting in, they'll jump out the ring and check on them, and maybe someone will roll back in, they get back in, and then they start the count again. Like the counts are all messed up. I would say that would be a quick fix, actually. I'd say that that's something that they could easily tweak, but they just don't seem that bothered by it. Braden, shout out to you. Hope you are well. Maggie said every match could be Darby's retirement match. That was pretty brutal, slamming him down on the exposed floor, and he's flopping around in the ring at the moment, trying to hold on to the ring ropes, trying to keep Samoa Joe at bay, just kicking him back. Big Time Back said, do you think there's some truths in the Ricky promo? Because MJF really does just talk and talk, rinse and repeat. I think if you're a heel, then there are certain things that you are... I don't want to say trained, but there's certain things that that you can go to that are going to get heat, cheap heat. Just like, Mick Foley goes, it's brilliant to be here in Washington. And it's like everyone goes, yeah, because everyone knows that's a cheap pop. Everyone knows that it's, There's an easy way to get heat. There's an easy way to get the crowd on your side, laying into the local sports teams, saying you've got more money than them. It's as old as wrestling. Do you know what I mean? This is something that has been going on for a long, long time, and it will go on for a long time, long after MJF. So do I think there's some truth in MJF using those techniques as a way to get heat? Absolutely. But I don't think he's wrong to do that, because I think that it works. It works. It's been proven to work. It will always work. If you come to a local area and lay into the sports team, or if you look around and say the women are fat and ugly, or say that everyone looks like they're broke, I'm amazed they were able to afford tickets. Doesn't matter what town you're in, what country you're in, you're going to get a negative reaction. And so It works, and it'll always work. But what was clever about Ricky responding to that is that he's calling him out on that and saying, like, could you be any more obvious with like how you're getting, you know, the crowd to turn on you? Like, is that really all you've got? That low hanging fruit? You're really not better than that. The great MJF, one of the great promos of this generation. Like, this is what you resort to. And the truth is that, you know, MJF has got other things that he could go to. You know, he could eviscerate Ricky Starks if he wanted to. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that he could rip into about his personal life and his career. That would take a degree of homework, if you will, background work. Which, if I was MJF, you know, you could turn around and say that, listen, if I want to rip your pathetic life apart, I could do that very easily, but you ain't worth my time. And that's a great line as well. That's a great way of like, oof. So yeah, there's it's good. I really enjoyed what MJF was doing. It's classic. And I enjoyed the fact that Ricky Starks called him out on it. Right, we're going to see Darby with a coffin drop is up. Boom! Lands on Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe goes down. Why do AEW allow their stars to carry every belt they have, even not AEW ones? It's annoying, says Hasib. I think it's because they want everyone to feel special, and they want everyone to feel like they're big and champions. They want you to know that these people are killing it in the wrestling business. Like, all right, this team might not be the AEW champs, but look what they're achieving in the wrestling world. Like, they've got this belt, and they're, you know, you need to take these guys seriously. The only problem is that's absolutely fine if it's like a real rare exception. But like when you started getting like the IWGP belts coming in, and certainly when you started to get the Ring of Honor belts coming in as well, it stopped feeling special then. I actually think that if you only had the AEW champions, right, but FTR were walking around with the flipping IWGP tag belts, that would be cool, because like the IWGP tag belts are, I mean, that means something to me. New Japan means something. Like, New Japan is credible, and in all fairness, AAA is as well, but it's not a promotion I've ever watched. But it's a credible promotion. So, you know, but because it's not a promotion that I've ever interacted with, that doesn't have the same impact. So I kind of feel like it would work to a degree, but there's just too many. I mean, we had a Karu Shida bringing in some princess belt or something. I don't even know what that was. Darby goes back, looks for a coffin drop, gets caught by Samoa Joe. He's got the Kakina clutch applied. Referee is checking on Darby, and it's, I don't know if Darby's going to get out of this, to be honest. Darby is trying to find a way out, but he seems to be fading. Referee checking on Darby, and he calls it, and that's it. Darby is put out by Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe picks up the victory. I definitely had the crowd. There was some nice moments in that match. Joe. What is thoughts on the Righteous being on NXT clear as day in the crowds? I did a video on it, but we don't know. I mean, I've heard rumors today that they're there for tryouts. So that makes it sound like maybe they are not going to be part of the Wyatt Six. Or if they are, they're only just joining now. So I've heard rumors that it could be that. Darby pushing at Joe. Joe with a headbutt to Darby. Joe goes over, grabs the skateboards. He's got Darby's skateboards. He threatened to hit the referee with the skateboard. Skateboard jumps out the ring. So he's got he drops the skateboard down. He's going to look to, he's got the wheels sticking up. Ugh. He's going to go for a muscle buster. He won't do it. He won't do it. He can't do that. He can't muscle buster him onto a skateboard. Oh my God, he did, you know. Oh my God. How did he do that? How did he do that? I really expected someone to come down. I really expected someone to stop that from happening. How did he do that? In my head, I'm trying to work out how do you do that without it hurting? And I can't figure out a way that did not just actually happen. Oh, now you come down, Wardlow. Now you come down. Wow. That's one of the damnedest things I've ever seen. That's honestly one of the damnedest things I have ever seen. A skateboard with the wheels sticking up. And he gets muscle busted, not like in between the wheels, onto the actual wheels. And they're not like special, like low or smaller or made out of flipping cottage cheese. Proper skateboard wheels. Something different. Of course it hurts, says Corvid. The Muscle Buster is one of my favorite moves. But it's so dangerous. It certainly is if you plant them onto flipping skateboard wheels. I didn't expect that. I'm quite happy to say I did not expect that. I genuinely thought someone was going to interrupt and you'd have them up like this and then someone would come down and he'd end up like putting Darby down. And he did it. I really feel like they should have made a bigger deal out of that because that's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Right, it's Orange Cassidy versus someone of Kip Sabian's choosing on Friday. Right, commercial break. Damn. The Muscle Buster made Tyson Kidd retire, but any move can injure someone, said Nachos. It'll hurt a lot, said Mark. Joe's got charisma. He knows how to keep himself relevant, even though he's basically part-time. They just threw the title on Wardlow when he was hot with not much of a plan. Miro taking the All-Atlantic title off Cassidy would work well. Darby Allin is a dead character. His back might be dead. Jeez. Honestly, so, I mean, I have to go with impressive, but I wish they'd made a bigger deal out of it. Because that is one of the damnedest things I've ever seen. Him getting planted onto that. I was just having a look, seeing if the clip was up, because sometimes there's clips that go up on social media. I know that. Oh, there it is. There it is. I'm going to retweet this. This is one of the craziest spots I've ever seen. Yes. Oh my God, man. I'm trying to see if he hits it in between the wheels. It might just be a... Oh, it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Oh, man. Honestly, I can't watch it without going, oh. I've just retweeted it onto the Twitter account. for those that aren't. So there's a few people saying they can't get to the show tonight. I know, even with gloves, my hands always freezing. It's not a surprise if he ends up crippled, said Marlowe. Right, we're going back to the show. So we're at 52 minutes into the show. So far, we've had the Dynamite Battle Royal, the promos, which I really enjoyed. And then we just had that match, which was pretty good, had a good pace to it. And that spot, man, that spot is insane. Still got FTR and Acclaimed coming up as well. James said, what are the odds that I'll manage to watch all those in the 3 weeks before the end of the year? I'm now down to 70 shows, by the way. I don't know, man. I think it's mental. I mean, I can't even work out how many shows a day that would have to be. You're probably looking at about three shows a day every day. That's full on, man. That is full on. What's been your favourite, James? What's been your favourite? Here's Jericho just saying a few words. I'm looking forward to taking you under my wing and mentoring you, but also I'm looking forward to beating you at Final Battle. Coming up next, then, Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. What is left of Blackpool Combat Club? Like, are they still Blackpool Combat Club? I didn't see anything on Moxley for Blackpool Combat Club. There is Blackpool Combat Club as a part of Claudio's entrance. Yeah, and he's wearing Blackpool Combat Club top. And Moxley's coming out as well. Okay, so Mox is here. Yuta's here. Claudio's here. Interesting. Mitchell, shout out to you, bud. Change this over. I'll get to your comment. So we've got Claudio and Wheeler versus Garcia and Hager. So Moxley has actually come down and is at ringside. Mitchell said they do that intense Darby spot only for it to not mean anything because they announced Joe versus Juice right after. That's what we're supposed to take from that. Why didn't you just at least save Darby? Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I wish that they'd made a bigger deal out of that. I think you could have like having Wardlow come running down after that spot had happened, like having him come down like after it. You're absolutely right. I mean, I'm shocked by that spot. I'm shocked by it. Like I love it because it's one of the damnedest things I've ever seen. I'm also a bit concerned about it because, I mean, honestly, your back's a precious thing. Do you know what I mean? And like, I can't see a way that did not hurt. I can't see a way that didn't hurt. I can't see a way that was, dare I even say, safe? I can't see how that's safe. But ain't my body. And clearly he's agreed to it. So if he wants to take that sort of a risk with his body, then, well, that's on Darby, isn't it? So all I can say is it's one of the craziest, damnedest spots I've ever seen in my life. It's absolutely the number one thing I'll take away from this show. Number two will be the back and forth between MJF and Ricky Starks. It's such a shame there. I agree that they just moved on from it so quickly. I wish that they had had a stretcher coming down and like real concern from the commentators and like the crowd booing Samoa Joe out of the building. And then maybe you could like have Wardlow drop a comment later in the show saying that that's just completely, he's got to be stopped. You know, it could be that they go to him and we try to get an update, and we get updates throughout the show as to how Darby Allin is doing. Yeah, I agree. I really think they should have made a bigger deal out of that. Wheeler, you on the feet, big chop coming in. So, Mitchell, shout out to you, buds. James said, so far, my favorites are GC Dub. I never liked you and New Japan Strong. I never liked you. GC Dub, I never liked you. Is that what it's called? GC, or is this an attack on me? Is this your way of just like subliminally putting in there that you never liked me? Or any, like the channel, the content, the community? Because that's a cheeky way of doing it, James. Yeah, my favorite show so far is GC Dub, by the way, I never liked you, and New Japan Strong Collision in Philadelphia. That's extreme. That's extreme. I like the hat, says AR1. Maybe they'll mention something more about Darby on Friday, says John. Maybe. AEW, not the hat. Yeah, he went to put on the purple like bucket hat thing. Right, we are up and running with this one, and we will be at half time in a couple of minutes. We're almost halfway through the show. That's the name of the GCW show. Let me have a look then, see if you're telling the truth. According to this, the name of the GCW show is GCW Wrestling Days is really cool. That's the name of the GCW show, but yet you seem to change it to GCW I never really liked you. I think we'll leave it there, James. I think we'll leave it there. One. Just a one count. Claudio just turned heel. Jake loves the hat, said Talkie Toaster. Are there big names on the UFC cards? Yeah, well, Jan Blachowicz is in the main event, isn't he? Jan Blachowicz is in the main event. In the co-main event is Paddy the Baddie. Paddy the Baddie Pimlet. He's certainly had a lot of buzz around him, hasn't he? Darren Till, Bryce Mitchell's. That'll be a fun fight, the Bryce Mitchell fight. I must admit, I don't think this is as good of a main card as what we've been seeing. I don't think that it's got like the star power in there at all, but it's definitely got some interesting fights. This is going to be a real tough challenge for Paddy Pimlet. How many fights are there? There's 4 on the early prelims. There's 4 on the prelims. That's 8. And then there's 5 on the main card. So there's 13 fights. 13 fights at the moment. Jan Blachowicz against Ankalaev. That'll be really interesting, though. Jan Blachowicz against Ankalaev. It is that has changed so many times. This was not going to be the main event at all. It was meant to be Jiri versus Glover Teixeira. But now it's completely changed. Our main event is Jan Blachowicz versus Ankalaev. Which will be good. Right, I think we were just at commercial break, and I think we are now coming back. No females. Is there no women on the cards? No female fights. Perhaps they've been seeing what the wrestling community has been saying about women's wrestling and how it doesn't get ratings, and so they've decided to drop it from the UFC card. Maybe it's that. I hate that Darby took that spot, and immediately it's, oh, by the way, Joe versus Juice this weekend. Where was Juice in all of this? Don't know. I think anything that takes away from that spot, be it Wardlow coming down, be it announcing Joe and Juice, anything that's not, oh my God, can you believe what we've just seen? I think anything that's not that is a real shame, because that spot was mental. Picture in picture. Ribby said not halftime yet. It's halftime now, isn't it? Unless this is like a weird extra long Dynamite. Let's do it.
Scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I really want to know your halftime scores. Put it in the chat. Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this.
I was just reading some comments then. I agree with Big Time Backstage. He said Foley's had so many high-risk spots in his career and he limps a lot. Darby should look after himself. He should. He should, but I think Darby is a daredevil. He's someone that likes to push himself. He seems to get off on that, doesn't he? So I can't say I'm too surprised. And equally, I ain't going to be surprised if he gets some really bad injury that's going to like wipe him out or worse, you know, like God only knows, like ends his career. So yes, he does need to look after himself, and maybe even AEW officials should step in and stop him from going too far and like say, no, I don't want you to do that. If it's something that's not going to be safe, I don't know how that spot wasn't safe. But on the flip side of the coin, it's one of the craziest things that I've seen. I think Darby's just mental for doing it, but I've got respect that he did it. Don't know, it's really weird. It's a really weird one. Like, I look at it and I'm like, well, it's true. We've seen loads of big spots by people where they took big risks before, and so you would applaud those. But like, yeah, man, Darby, that was brutal. Did you see what Dynamite said? I didn't. No, what did he say? Big fan is he? Did he say, come on, England? 100% FTR loses. Why start now? They only have 4 world titles. Scorpio said 7.8. Tim said UFC 286 is announced for London. That's going to be amazing. Braden said, I'm liking the show overall, so I'm giving it an 8. Legend Killer says 7. Hayden says 7. Miss Clown says Joe. Bum. You see what AEW did to Jeff Hardy? They will do the same to Darby. Do you remember he did that senton on a steel step and that Brian Cage threw him down the stairs in a body bag? Yeah. That senton onto... Didn't he do something as well? I want to say in the Owen Hart tournament where he went onto the edge of a chair. Like the top part of a chair, like the real firm part of the chair. I think he did a senton or a coffin drop or something. Like crashed onto that. That was crazy. I think that was crazy. I can't remember what he was jumping off. I don't know if it was just the edge of the ring or a springboarded or something, but I remember him going onto some chairs. He's done loads of like crazy stuff like that. But some of them you can look at and go, well, you know, maybe there's a way of doing that safe. Like, again, I don't know how. But I just, with this one, I can't see how you do it safe. Unless he did go in between the wheels. Unless, like, you've got the wheels and he went in between them. And then, like, that somehow, like, maybe the wheels just dug into, like, his shoulders a little bit. But it wasn't like they were in the, like, you know, into his proper back. But I don't know. I can't quite make out where he hits. Mental. It's mental. It's one of the craziest things I've seen. Uppercuts by Claudio. I'm 6 out of 10. The MJF promo was good. More talking than fighting is the only reason why I give it a 6, says David. Darby and Hardy did it themselves, but only because Tony Khan allowed them. He is taking their lives for ratings, says Maggie. Blackpool Combat Club and Jericho Appreciation Society have been feuding damn near all year. Please make it stop, said Wyatt 6. Thomas said Punk handpicked Darby. He hasn't won a match in about 9 months. Is that a coincidence, says Thomas. I don't know what they're doing with Darby, to be honest. I really don't know what they're doing. I suppose, is he just like their little daredevil that they don't think they need to like put the belt on or pull the trigger with or something? I don't know. I really don't know what their plan is. Hager trying to grab the leg of Claudio. Claudio back up on his feet, gets picked up. Claudio goes over, rolls up Hager, grabs a hold of the legs, and we've got the swing. The swing. Round is going. What was the payoff for that? At least Foley's spot had a payoff, says Lewis. That's what we said. I think that like doing the spot is, I think some people will be like, no, shouldn't do it. It's too dangerous. He's got to be saved from himself. And other people will be like, look, it's his body. He knows the risks. He's clearly agreed to it. And if he wants to do it, let him do it, right? So there's going to be people that are going to be split on whether he should do it or not. But I'm just going to keep coming back to what I keep coming back to, and that is, if you do it, then make a massive deal out of it. Make a big deal out of it. Moxley comes around, grabs the legs of crossbody. Grabs the legs of Sammy Guevara. Hager has got the ankle lock applied to Claudio. Claudio is trying to get over to the ropes. He gets dragged into the middle of the ring. Garcia grabs Wheeler Yuta. So Garcia has got a sharpshooter. Hager has got a ankle lock. They do both have submission holds applied. Hager going into uppercut. Hager going into Garcia. Oh, Claudio wins, you know. That uppercut did it. And Claudio wins. Has he got a Combat Club mouthpiece? Moxley is getting into the ring. Didn't see what you said, William. Wasn't looking. You're 100% right, Days. I think you're around my age. As an American, I was a huge Paul Burchill mark. What were your thoughts on him? I think he's probably a bit underrated, to be honest. I don't think he's a name that gets mentioned that much, but he could always do some stuff in the ring. I always thought he was entertaining. I always found him to be fun. So yeah, I can't say I was a big mark, but yeah, he's just someone that never gets mentioned and probably deserves to be. You need all types in wrestling. Do you know what I mean? You need all types. Oh, hang on. Here's William Regal. Full Gear was unbelievable. Tony. People will only see this if something bad happens. You are the villain of villains, said Tony. He seems to be mad about emails. He's world champion. Be careful what you wish for. Everyone's going to be chasing him. I realised that the guys in the Blackpool Combat Club didn't need me. But I knew they wouldn't let me go. John Moxley will understand this. I needed to teach you the final thing. Always stay a step ahead. And always keep eyes in the back of your head. Fellas, it's been emotional. And William Regal steps away. So there's a video recording that just gets shown of William Regal. Tony asking John what he thinks about that. So Moxley walking around. See what Moxley's going to say in response. All I know is one thing for sure. All I know is the three men in this ring live and breathe for the sport of professional wrestling. Tony Khan made it public. Regal leaves in December and he'll go to WWE in January. This Friday night, I will make a statement, said Moxley. I will challenge any wrestler. I think boob, says William. Pro wrestling is about to make a serious statement, says John. What does that mean for Blackpool Combat Club? I wonder. What does that mean? I mean, look, so there's a video that's recorded. William Regal basically says that he knew that the guys didn't need him anymore. And he was going to step up, and so he knew he needed to step away, but he knew they wouldn't let him do that. So, you know, that's part of the reason why he did what he did. And then he gives another reason where he says that it was to teach Jon Moxley to always have eyes in the back of your head and to not trust anyone. That's the final lesson that I can teach you, really. Is to have eyes in the back of your head and to not trust everyone. I feel like you probably could have taught him that a different way, you know? Rather than costing him his world title. It's a bit harsh, isn't it, really? It's a bit harsh. Couldn't you have just, like, put some salt into my cereal instead? If I asked you, like, you know, for a bowl of cereal, and then you could have been like, listen, don't trust anyone, not even me. Like, you could have done that. You didn't need to flip in... How MJF get my world title off me. But either way, that's what they've gone with in regards to explaining why he did what he did, and then he stepped away. We've got House of Black. Come one, come all. A massive main event still coming up. The Acclaimed against FTR. William said, I'm such a deep person. Days makes me look like a orangutan that throws poop from a perch in a tree, says William. Well, I mean, all I'm trying to do, William, is I'm just trying to protect your true self with an alter ego, to be honest. I think we all know that deep down you are very intellectual, read a lot of novels and Shakespeare, and I think we know that you're a very, very deep thinker, but I want to try and protect that by presenting you as a sexual deviant. So that's kind of how I'm protecting your true self. You know, everyone likes to have a little alter ego. Yeah, look at Bray, for example. He's got one, hasn't he? So, yeah, we've just given you one, which, in all fairness, if you could choose a different one, you might do. You might go for something a bit different, but I think sexual deviant. I think you performed the role very well. Very well. James said, considering you're in the desert, you're not sweating. Do you have what Prince Andrew has got? There will be no connections between me and Prince Andrew. Thank you very much. Right. All joking aside, I would like to go on record to say that me and Prince Andrew have nothing, zero in common. Yeah, absolutely nothing. So, no. The truth is I've got a massive fan here that's keeping me. It is Austin, actually, Austin 360. But just keeping me cool. Is William Regal saying goodbye? He's officially gone from AEW. Yes, but then I have felt that a couple of times when he walked off. Do you remember when he walked off? When Moxley confronted him? I remember saying during that stream, is he leaving? Like, this feels like goodbye? This feels like he's walking away. And then we saw him again. And then he got beaten up by a MJF. And it was like, is this him leaving now? Is he going now? And now he's just done that. And it's like, is this him leaving now? I feel like every week we're just going to get different. Is he going now? Is this him leaving now? And we're just going to do that till January. Maggie said, I am glad to hear that. You're more Prince than Andrew ever was. Thank you. My alter ego is Donald Duck, says Leo. Is Dana White legit with this? What? Oh, I didn't even see what he said. What did he say? James, what did he say? What did Dana White say about the football? Is he loving it? When Moxley said run, then he told him to walk away. We're back from commercial break. Tony said in his call that he's gone. Where are the kids? Do you have them in the desert? Yes. Yes, they're just digging some holes. They don't know what for yet. But they'll find out. Right, here's Jamie Hayter. Saraya gets a sit down. Tony gets a sit down. But not with me. That baffles me. Ask me some questions. What do you want to know? What do you want to know? The division is getting very interesting. Everyone's trying to grind their way to... Are they? Is that what's going on backstage? Everyone's trying to grind their way to the top. This is AEW. I'm going to give one of those girls the opportunity of a lifetime. Fighting champion. Well, there we go then. The what? The Regina Del Wave? What? I don't even know what that is. Regina Del Wave. Oh, it's that Hikaru Shida belt. So she's going to defend her Regina Del Renta belt. And whoever wins gets the belt and will also get a shot at Jamie Hayter. Right, here come the girls. Girls. Here come the girls. 6-lady tag. This is a big time entrance. There's big time Tony. Jade is bae. I've sent you an advert. Dana White stating something called a power slap. Whoever slaps their opponent's hardest wins. Oh, that's a new slap fighting thing, isn't it? It's a new slap fighting thing. James said, I've sent it you. Oh, yeah, I've got a new Twitter account, by the way. Probably should have mentioned that. Guys, follow me on Twitter because I need to get 12,000 followers again, yeah. I had 12,000 and they're all gone now. That's my Twitter account at Wrestling Days, YT. And do you know what the YT stands for? I'm not sure, but I couldn't have Wrestling Days because that was the old account. So feel free to make up your own thoughts as to what the YT stands for. You sent me something. Oh, here. Dana White and football. I can't stand soccer. I think it's the least talented sport on earth. There's a reason 3-year-olds can play soccer okay. You run around and kick a ball. Do you know how talented you have to be to score 3 points when the net is this big? Do you know how untalented you have to be to score 3 points when the net is this big? I can only imagine that he was just, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, look, he didn't like it. I ain't too bothered by it. You know, I don't think he watches it. I don't think he gets it. I mean, there'll be plenty of people that will be making fun of him over those. I don't feel like I need to jump in. Remember how everyone was thinking Bo Dallas is the Uncle Howdy promos because of the cross earring? It could be Asuka. Don't forget, every time the white symbol pops up next to Alexa, Asuka is there as well. Good thought. Fun theory. Retweet that. That is a pretty big damn net. Jade is the only one of the 7 women that aren't dating wrestlers. I have no idea who these women are dating, nor do I want to know. Don't feel like you need to start telling me because I don't give a flip. At least Madison Rain and Kira work together in Impact, says Heather. Hayden says YT stands for YouTube. Oh, that probably would make sense if you think about it. That probably does make sense. Funky Fresh says, my dreams have come true. Hasib said, if Dana White thinks that football is the least talented sport, I guess he's not seen Ronaldinho then. I guess he's not seen Phil Jones. Actually, perhaps he has seen Phil Jones. Over in the corner. Tag. Days, what do you think will happen on SmackDown tomorrow? And come on, England. Come on, England. Come on, England. Come on, England. Well, SmackDown is... I don't know. I don't know what to expect from SmackDown. SmackDown is going to be quite interesting because I think they have announced some matches. Usos versus Butch and Sheamus, so we're getting that. I'm sure we'll get some at Bray. I know he's dealing with some personal stuff, but it could be that he's pre-recorded something. On the outside of the ring, and Sky Blue getting thrown into the ring. Just keeping the dream alive, said Al Shawn. Phil Jones, the GOAT. Maggie said she's busy with the Bow Wow charade. Right, over in the corner, we've got 34 minutes to go, and they are keeping Sky Blue trapped in the corner. Gonna look for a suplex. Sky Blue goes down. Madison Rain wants the tag. 1, 2 count. Kurt Angle's birthday is on SmackDown. Oh, yeah. The replies were hilarious, to be fair, said James. I can believe it. I feel like I need to have a look at some of the replies, actually. I can't read some of these. Because they're a little bit not PG. Let's put it that way. Right. The crowd looks like they've died during this match. Yep. I think, but we said before we started, like, that this jumps out like a flipping... This is like an iceberg, man. No one's giving a flip about this. But just follow G. Thank you for the update, says Hawkins Jr. Shout out to you, dudes. Asib said, I like Jamie Hayter. I think she's great. Told you they were good, said James. Sonny says, maybe we're going to get a moment of silence for Crowlar as they're going to get murdered by Brazil Lar. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, a big couple of days coming up. It's going to be a real bad weekend, I think, for Croatia and for Netherlands and certainly for France. Over in the corner, in comes Red Velvet. Red Velvet charges over, deals with Madison Rayne, grabs Sky Blue, kick to the midsection. Sky Blue's down 1, 2, kick out by Sky Blue. Jonathan said, a bunch of uncoordinated wrestling, no more. Finish the match. This should be on Dark. Can't Phil Jones just retire? 2, shoulder up. Back in the corner, kick to the midsection. She's got a hold of the arm. Scissor kick. Clothesline. Down goes Red Velvet. Days, come on. You've got me and William here. When is these streams really that PG anyway? Well, I try. I'm battling. I'm working. I'm doing everything I can to try and keep it on the straight and narrow. You know me. I'm basically Mary Poppins. Feel like a Mary Poppins surrounded by flipping Roy Chubby Browns. I'm loving the match so far. This is match of the night, says Jim. Match of the night. Jim, hope you well, buds. Jim sent me a really interesting picture. He went to one of those AI art creator type things, which I didn't even know existed. But there are websites that you can like put in your name and it'll create like some art based on your name. And he sent me a picture based on Wrestling Days. It's weird, man. Proper trippy. I really want to have a look and I'd love to do some of those on like the web next week. Just get like loads of community names and just like create some different art and look at what comes back. Could do it for wrestlers as well, which I think would be really interesting. Love that. It's a good idea, that is. So, yeah, very good, Jim. Very good. I hope you're well. Jay Cargill's tagged in, by the way. She is in control. Kira Hogan pushes Jade out the way. Kira Hogan makes the tag to Madison Rayne. Step up Inzaguri. Looking for a ripcord, but back elbow here by Jade. Jade's got Madison Rayne up, plants her down, turns her over. 1, 2, 3. Done. Done. Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill gets it done. She looks great. Jay Cargill was looking at Red Velvet. Is she about to turn on Red Velvet? There's a hell of a gap between her and Red Velvet. What's going on here? Guys, I'm really worried about the baddies. I'm really worried about this situation. I don't even know what baddie's called. Jay Cargill having a look at Red Velvet. It's fine. It's fine, guys. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Baddies are all still together, guys. Baddies are fine. Here's Saraya and Britt. Well done on the biggest win of your career, and it'll never happen again. you. Your first match was against the biggest star. AEW Dynamite. You can sit in the front row. Or you could step in the ring. I've got the women's champion, Jamie Hayter, with me at all times. Except for right now, but... Okay, so there's going to be a tag match. It's going to be Britt and Jamie taking on Saraya and a mystery partner. It's going to be Sasha. It's going to be Wyndham. Kairi Shida is taking on the Bunny. Ruby Soho against Ty Mello. It might be Mercedes. It's going to be Mercedes. Saraya wasn't really ever that great with her mouth, says Thomas. It's going to be Greengrass. John Moxley takes on Takeshita. Ring of Honor 0 Hour begins at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Chris Jericho against Claudio for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Dalton Castle and the boys take on the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage. Daniel Garcia is going to be taking on Wheeler Yuta. Samoa Joe is taking on Juice Robinson. And Mercedes Martinez is taking on Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Shane Taylor Promotions against Swerve in Our Glory. I thought they split up. Didn't Swerve in Our Glory split up? The Elite is going to recruit Takeshita. It's going to be Rosa, says Serge. Yeah, Rosa's a really good shout. Next week, we've got the Elite against Death Triangle. We've got the House of Black in action. We got MJF taking on Starks. Looking forward to that. That'll be good. MJF versus Ricky Starks. Coming up next, the main event. Yes, Shane Taylor Promotions, says Heather. David said, don't mind AEW signing ex-WWE. Some of them work, but not all of them. Athena is winning that belt, says Corbin. Right, we are at commercial break, and I think we've got our main event coming up. Our main event of the evening. Should be good. FTR versus the Acclaimed. Now listen. Best of 7 series. The Elite versus Triangle match. 4 of 7. AEW Winter is coming next week, says Hayden. Time for the main event. Sonny said, I downloaded that AI generator. You can do one for free, but then you have to pay to create other ones. Instantly got rid of it. Oh, do you have to pay? If it was like, I don't know, a couple of quid for like, I don't know, 20 or something, you'd be like, yeah, do that. I'd do that. But if it's going to be like something crazy, I wouldn't do it. Like £10 for 5 or something. Forget that. Maggie said, I'm sick of Death Triangle and Elite. It's just the same thing every week. James said it's like Keith Lee is in battle with his former relationship and his current. I think they're going to break up. Ring of Honor sucks, says Derek. Looks like it's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. It's going to be AJ Lee, and it'll be the same night that CM Punk returns and costs the Elite the Trios Championship, said Robs. Could you imagine? That'd be fire. I don't know that I'm expecting it, but that would be fire. I always feel like you have to pay for subscriptions on apps these days, says J14. Well, certainly the apps that you go on, Jay. Certainly the ones that J14 ventures onto. I bet you do have to pay for them. Pay with your innocence. Noah says, don't know how Excalibur can speak at 1,000 miles per hour. It's going to be another loss for FTR. Poor FTR, says Maggie. Corbett said it's so weird in wrestling that people mention someone is an ex from a different company. It doesn't matter. No one cares in other sports when people change teams. That's true. Serge said they're going to interrupt this match and reschedule it for Winter is Coming. What time are the games tomorrow? Let the games begin. Well, the games are on Friday, so it is tomorrow here in the UK, but it's not tomorrow if you're watching in America. So Friday, we've got 2 games and then 2 games on Saturday. I actually don't know the start times. I think that their start times are 3 o'clock, maybe, which is about 10 in the morning. Here's FTR Eastern time. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Living legends. Big cheer. Big cheer for FTR. FTR chants. They got the AAA titles, the Ring of Honor titles, the IWGP titles. Can they add the AEW titles? These guys have wrestled in Mexico, in London, in Japan. Here's the Acclaimed. Do you think there'll be something about Revival? I'd put something in there about the Revival. Shaving each other's backs. That's good. You're going to lose like Herschel Walker. So they say, you're going to lose like Herschel Walker. He said, I think FTR stands for Find the Remote. That was good. Find the Remote. I didn't mind that. Sever me, daddy. It's a really interesting clash, this, because you've got FTR, who are like really cool and credible and a proper throwback. And you've just got like the wacky energy, the fun of the Acclaimed. I don't know who I want to win. I really like them both, but I like them both for different reasons. Yo, now listen. Let's go into the chat and put up a poll. See what you lot think. Who is gonna win? Is it gonna be the Acclaimed? Is it gonna be FTR? Who do you think's winning it? Face versus face. Crowd will be nuts. Crowd a little split. There's plenty of scissoring in the crowd, though. Hope you're well, Irish Rebel. Shout out to you. Hayden said, don't forget there's no FIFA World Cup watch-alongs tomorrow, Thursday. However, there will be 2 games on Friday and another 2 matches on Saturday. There is, Hayden. Shout out to you, buddy. We're seeing lots of noise. These teams collide. 18 minutes left. I'd love England to beat France on Saturday. Fingers crossed. England do look strong, but France are going to be a hard one. Shut it down now, please, says Boomers. Rob said, FTR win, only dub, a heel turn so the Acclaimed can chase them. Philip said, are you enjoying the show? I think it's been pretty easy to watch. I didn't enjoy the women's tag match. I wasn't massively into the Claudio stuff. Yeah, I wasn't massively into that tag match. But, like, you know, the Battle Royal was pretty good. The promos were amazing. Samoa Joe and Darby was pretty fun. The spot after was amazing. This match is going to be fire. I reckon there's a good hour and a quarter here. And then about 40-odd minutes that I probably could have done without. So I reckon this show's going to be around about a 7 summit for me. I reckon it's about a 7 summit. Over against the ropes goes Dax. Shoulder tackle. Replica belts make great gifts. We're beyond ridiculousness. I display on streams. I would just like to say boobs, says William. Did you see Carl Walker's press conference? He was getting frustrated with the Mbappe questions. Yeah, got to expect it, though. I heard a really interesting interview where Julian from ESPN, I forget his surname, Julian Orange, don't know. He said that he is French and he was listening to French radio. And apparently the French aren't worried about England, but all the talk on French radio is, do you think the English can deal with Killian? How do you think the English will deal with Killian? What do you think Killian will do against the English? How good is Killian compared to everyone else in the world right now? It's all just Killian. That's all the French are talking about, apparently. So you got to, I suppose, in a way, it's all the world they're talking about. Can England stop Killian? Listen, I'll tell you what, if they underestimate England, they're going to get spanked, boy. I feel good about that. If they don't go, if they think that Killian's just winning them that match, they're going to be humbled. But if they prepare properly, work hard, I think France will probably win it. But if there's any arrogance, and we all know the French, give England a great chance. Right, here we go. We got Dax down. Cash's on the outside. Leg drop by Bowens. Although the scissors are out. The scissors are out. And bang, they're scissoring during the match. Ass Boys are really taking the titles off. Kicks the midsection off the Acclaim because Billy is going to turn on them and help his sons. Oh, that would make sense, though. It would be heartbreaking. Step through. FTR trying to get the sharpshooter and Caster powering his way out of it. Now he's looking for his own sharpshooter. Sharpshooter applied. Bowen's looking for his own sharpshooter as well. So right now, both of the Acclaimed have got sharpshooters applied on FTR. Fun fact, WWE doesn't need Sasha, and I do stand by that, says Boomers. Well, I think the past 6-7 months have shown that. If Sasha went to AEW, I guarantee the Stan accounts would turn to another WWE star They don't want to see WWE, AEW stan accounts. Except that they did that already, says Adam. Not a fan of Sasha. Where's all this Sasha talk come from? Kicks coming in by Cash. Create a pro wrestling school must be slammed with students. So many successful guys are coming out of there, says Corvid. That's a nice work there by Dax and Cash. I think we're going to come out. Oh, they scissor now. FTR are doing a bit of scissoring by FTR. This team, are they the Arse Boys? They're not the Arse Boys. No, this is the Ass Boys. They are Billy Gunn's kids. Give this watch days. It's really intriguing. William, I am never clicking on a link that you put in the chat. Ever. Never. Dude, my computer would just instantly shut itself down. Silly Billy. Probably a new rumor about here every week, says Adam. I swear, if I hear about Sasha and Naomi one more time. Sasha's not on TV, so who cares? No one. No, someone probably does. Back elbow by Cash. It's really great, says William. Is it, though? Is it? Right, we've got headlock being applied here by Cash. We're approaching the final 10 minutes. Bananas and Grapes says, I love scissors. Sasha was on that new Nikki Bella show last night, said Eric. Didn't even know there was a new Nikki Bella show. Shots coming in by Caster. Shoulder in the midsection there by Cash. Has got Caster. Clothesline. Caster goes down. It's going over, making a tag to Dax. Dax coming in. Oh, leg drop. 1, 2. The World Cup is so interesting so far. Anyone can win. I'm enjoying the World Cup, says David. Very good. It has been a lot of fun. I'll be enjoying it a lot more if England get past France. I know that. England versus Morocco and Croatia versus Netherlands. That would be great. If we could do that, that would be great. If we could sort that out. If I could just handpick all the next results. Handpick the semi-final. Croatia versus Netherlands. The winner of that will play the winner of England, Morocco. And that could be the World Cup final. And then it'll be England, Croatia, and we'll get revenge for 4 years ago. It's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen. It's that TV show about witches, says Sonny. The show is called Barmageddon. The show is called Jobageddon. Jobageddon. Chops coming in by Cash. Guys, please remember, if you are a Sasha stan, it's all just jokes. Yeah, don't send me death threats. Mate, if you are a Sasha stan, you probably still write with crayons anyway, so I probably wouldn't be able to make out the wording. Stop being mean about Sasha. Crossbody in the air. Scrambled eggs. I'm really hungry now. Durate says, "Go Portugal." Well, I don't mind Portugal. Go Portugal, but not at the expense of England. Right, here is Dax forearm strike. Up, looking for a big back body drop there by Caster. In comes Bowens, clothesline. Another strike as well. Bowens unloading on both of FTR. Big strikes coming in. Bang! Yeah! Kick to the midsection. Lovely strikes. Over the top. Bang! Leg drop. Back of the head. Back elbow. Chopping away. Super kick. Down goes Dax. Against the ropes goes Bowen. Tell you what, Bowen on fire. Did you hear that Eden Hazard has retired from international football? No, I hadn't. No. It's a shame. Still not that old, I don't think, Eden Hazard. I think he's like, what, 31, 32? It's a shame. Right, how long we got? We got 8 minutes still to go here. Crowd being quite vocal. Kick to the midsection by Bowens. I really like the Acclaim's ring gear. I don't know if we ever really praised that enough, you know. But I really like it. It's white and pink. It really pops. It really stands out. It's got some scissors on it as well, which is obviously their theming. It's good. It's a bit of flipping colour. Bowen moves out the way. Bowen comes over. Down goes Cash. Dax rolling up Bowen. Holding the tights. Little bit of cheating going on up on the shoulders. Oof. Net breaker. 1, 2. Ooh, 2.9. 2 Bowens almost getting the 3. Oof. Bowens can go, said Ron. It's very impressive. Hazard, 126 caps and 33 goals. What's your favourite Christmas dinner? I don't really have one, to be honest. My brother is someone that really likes food to be properly cooked. I don't know if he had like food poisoning when he was young or something, but like when he has a steak, he wants it well done. Any kind of meat, he's not into like blood and all that. So any like red in a steak or all of this, no. My brother's like, no, thank you. So that means that we have to have the flipping beef and the turkey and everything just like burnt. Not like properly burnt, but way more cooked than I would have it. You know, if I'm having a steak, I'm having it medium rare. Do you know what I mean? I like a little bit of juice being in there. I like a little bit of pink. We just never have that. I keep looking at these amazing pictures of like cuts of beef. And they're all like pink in the middle and they look so moist and lovely. And then I look at what I get. And it's just not the same. So I must admit, like Sunday meals, Christmas dinners. I'm not crazy about them, but I think I probably could be. I would just have to cook it myself. 1, 2. Oh! So yeah, like a nice beef joint that's like, but juicy and pink in the middle. Like, yes, put me down for that. Creamy potatoes. We actually had some peas and beans tonight. They had like some mint and parsley on it. It was really flavoursome. It's beautiful, actually. Who knew that peas and beans could be so tasty? Right, Caster gets kicked into Bowens. FTR. Oh, looking for the big finish. Up in the air. No, he gets knocked out the way. It's carnage. There's people coming and going in this match all the time. Into the corner. Let's end this poll, by the way. Oh, FTR. 1, 2. Bowens makes the save. Bowens makes the save. So it looked like FTR were going to get the win, but Bowens makes the save. The big rig. Great match, says Hayter. Rare steak all day. When I bite it, I want it to scream, said Justin. Yeah, I'm like that. I'm like that. I could go for rare. But I tend to play it a little safe because sometimes it can be like super, super rare if you have it rare. Not that it bothers me, to be honest. Not that it bothers me. I just don't know that I would go for blue. I feel like blue might be my limit. And I have had some rare stakes that have been really rare. But yeah, I agree. I'd much rather go in that direction than go like, well done. 3 minutes of TV time left to go. Jay said there's no way the Acclaimed to lose him. Well, right now, Caster is up top. 56% of people think the Acclaimed is going to win. 43% think it's going to be FTR. Clothesline on the outside. Dax goes down by Bowens. Bowens jumping into the ring. Looking for a clothesline. He's up. He gets planted down by Cash. Bowens rolling out the ring. Here's Caster. Caster trying to get a roll-up win. No joy. Kick coming in. I have no idea who the legal person is. Not a flipping clue. Not a clue. 2. Shoulder up. Big, big clothesline by Cash. On Caster. And again. Caster goes down. He's going to go to really finish this off now. Power bomb. Roll through. Reversed. 1, 2, 3. The Acclaim win. Cash is pinned. Gonna have to explain that to Dax, isn't he? He's gonna explain that to Dax. Dax is on the outside. He doesn't even know what's happening. Awkward. As expected, said Corbett. Acclaimed wins. Called it. Main event was great, but I'm going to give this show a 7. Send me, daddy. What a match. Yeah, it was good. Oh, he's frustrated with himself. So, Daddy Ass is helping FTR get up to their feet. Got the scissors in the air. Daddy Ass is I think we're going to get everyone scissoring right now. He wants all the scissors in the air. He wants all the scissors. Oh, they're all scissoring each other. Lot of respect. Lot of respect. Lot of love. Lot of joy. Oh, there's the Gun Club. So close, FTR. Legacy, bye-bye. So close. We got you some presents. I've got a card. It's from a card from Dem Boys. It says Saturday at Final Battle. So is that going to be Briscoes versus FTR on Saturday? Double dog collar match. Double dog collar match. FTR against Briscoes on Saturday. Just say no. What, you're just going to give us a few days to prepare for a double dog collar? No. Sad the Briscoes can't be on TV to announce this instead of the Ass Boys, says Tahil. James says, OMG. Heather said Briscoes, Saturday, dog collars. Yeah, it would have been better if the Briscoes had announced that, but that's still pretty interesting development, isn't it? I didn't see that coming. Great build for that match, said Undercover Manager. Justin says 6. Get in your scores. Fire your scores in. FTR should have been number 1 on the PWI, but I'll hand it to the Usos. They wrestled 3 times more. It's about time they get some recognition. Legend Killer said, what a show. Airflow said, I'm not a fan of dog collar matches. Maggie said, I don't like the scissoring. Pure cringe. Billy Gunn's old enough to know better, but I suppose it gets him a lot of attention. Good to see Jack and Jerry getting back in the ring one more time. Very good. Would have been better if it was announced a few weeks ago. Get your scores in, everyone. Expect blood, violence, and more blood, says James. And I think James says that when he goes out on his dates as well. 725 said Joel. 8 says Greg. Let him in, says 7. Heather said, shoot, I would almost buy that pay-per-view on Saturday. Corbett said FDR has done so much more than the Usos. William says, that's why Days keeps me around. I draw in the ladies. That is true. It's just against their will. Hayden says 7. Mitchell says 8. Tahil says 8. Aaron says 9. Hello, Aaron. Hope you're well, mate. J14 said 7. Screw this. 7. 8.3. Hayden says 7. Rivy said, I didn't like the DX crotch chop, but it was iconic, and I feel the same way about the scissoring. Heather with the 725. 6.5. William said, I'm going with a weak 6.9. Ron says 10 because they announced the second Canadian show. 10 out of 10 says 1 Minute Wrestler. 6.9 says Jackie. Paul says 5. Brian says 7.7. Shaquem says 6. And Tahil said the Briscoes should have run in during the Acclaimed match. Right, well, there we go. Aaron with a 10 and 420. Brenton with a 7. Aaron said, are you watching Final Battle? I can't. It's on Saturday, isn't it? I can't even watch NXT Deadline, unfortunately, because that is also on Saturday. And Saturday, we've got one of the biggest football matches of my life with England and France. And then pretty much straight after that, we go into UFC 282, which is the last big show of the year for the UFC. Everything seems to be happening this weekend. I don't know why, to be honest. I don't know why they've not moved some stuff for the weekend after. But like NXT's doing its big show this weekend. Ring of Honor is doing its big show this weekend. UFC is doing its big show this weekend. I also think there's a big boxing thing this weekend as well. So there's a lot going on this weekend. It feels like a lot of people have targeted this weekend as being the weekend to put on a big show. So there's just a lot of things that are colliding, unfortunately. But hey ho, we know what we're doing. We're doing the 2 football matches. We're doing UFC, and it's a shame. I would love to have done NXT, to be honest. I'd love to have done that, but it's all just colliding and getting in the way. Right, Ingalandla. Let him in. Said, what's your score? I'd probably go with a 7. I feel like the shows are pretty good. I feel like there probably wasn't like an OMG moment, but I suppose there was, and that was the flipping skateboard thing, which is honestly just one of the craziest things. Sometimes it's the simple things. Like sometimes you don't need this big moment. It's just something that you go, I was so adamant. It's just something that you go, I was so adamant he was not going to do it. I was so adamant. I was like, he won't do it. Someone will come down it. And then he did it, and I couldn't believe it. And it looked brutal. And it's crazy. It was such a crazy spot. That is a wow moment for me. And then the promos back and forth as well between like MJF and Ricky Starks. Like, yeah, that was really cool as well. But I must admit, a lot of that seemed to come like in the first part of the show. I don't think anything else got to that level afterwards. So I feel like you know, we had the promos, and then we had that match, which was good between Samoa Joe and everything. I thought the main event was good, but I think my 2 big takeaways is the skateboard moment and the promos, and then the main event would be third. So I reckon about 7. I could go to a 7.25. 7.725. I was quite entertained, to be honest. I wasn't really sat here going, oh my God, I wish this would end. Maybe I felt that way a bit during the women's match, but I knew that women's match wouldn't be too long. I knew they weren't going to give that loads of time, so Right, I'm going to shoot off. Really appreciate everyone joining us tonight. I really hope you had fun and a bit of a laugh or had some interesting thoughts as we had some interesting conversations before Dynamite began. As I said, I don't mind getting a bit more serious on a Wednesday. Tomorrow, I'm going to see if I can get a toy hunt up tomorrow. So I'll try and get that done. Obviously, I've got loads of research and streams to set up and all of that, and a massive weekend, as you know. But next wrestling will be, watch along will obviously be SmackDown on Friday. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.